out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
Yourself and your soul together. This man will make your liver quiver.
What's good? You are tuning in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect as always. It's been a minute. My sis, my co-host, is back in effect. What's up, P?
I'm good, Kill. Good to be back.
Alright, no doubt. People been wondering with Vern, Kill, you not cutting checks again. We ain't seen him. Like, what's good? He's back. We worked out negotiations. You know, we got the lawyers. Everything is good. Vern, what's going on, babe?
What's so good, people? Glad to be here, man. It's been an hour. It ain't been a minute. It's been an hour. But
all right, y'all know there's a lot of hip hop. These crews is breaking up. Man, file for more. People leaving his show. Like things just all over the place. I'm getting my accountants to look at everybody's paychecks. We're gonna get everybody good. So we don't have people leaving for too long. The man of the hour, I don't know where you keep coming up with these t-shirts. The Latin Quarters, I've never even seen that t-shirt ever in my life. For people who do not know, the Latin Quarters was an infamous New York City nightclub during the late 80s. You just had to be at the LQ. You know what I mean? Kel, what's going on, good brother?
Yo, good to be here. I think I was just telling you, I was in Philly. I'm in Queens right now. I want to be on the Linden Boulevard, which is right up the street, but my power's kind of off and stuff like that. So, but I'm here. So good to be back.
All right. No doubt. My Illadelph brother, Rel. Illadelph Steak Life. What's good, baby?
What's good? Happy to be here as always.
All right. And the R&B guru, JR. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? Good to be back. Was gone for 2 weeks, but we back in effect. So,
all right. It's like a family reunion up in here. Look, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. Prayerfully, you've been rocking with us long enough. We like to do salute shows for certain years. We are up to the year of 1998. So we are looking at all the dope albums, slept on albums, who was the dopest MC that year, dopest producer, what was the feel of hip hop and everything like that. But in doing this show, I realized something about my personal walk that I kind of felt disconnected from this shit. So one of the first things I want to do is kind of just talk about where you were in 1998. If you want to say your age, you could do that, whatever. And the reason why I say that, I'll set it off with this. In 1998, I was living in Atlanta. Vern knows this because I've been in the ATL with him. I'm dead broke, just graduated college. You know what I mean? I'm not. Now keep in mind, for people who don't know my story, you know, from 93 to 97, I hosted Strictly Hip Hop, Morgan State's hip hop show. So everything was free. Every show was free. Every album was free. I didn't pay for anything. It was like I walked on water for those years. You know what I mean? Now I'm in Atlanta. Nobody knows me. I'm broke. I don't have a job. So I'm not being able to listen to every CD. You know what I mean? So it's like now I'm like a mere mortal. I'm like having to buy CDs, and it's like culture shock to me because keep in mind, I haven't brought a CD probably since 1992. You know what I mean? So this is culture shock. They have to go to Sam Goody and pay $16.99. I'm just out of college, can't find a job in ATL. Any extra money I get is going to vinyl to try to make beats, to try to sell beats. So a lot of albums I didn't hear as much is when I'm looking through this list. I'm like, man, I ain't hear that. I ain't hear that either. Like, damn, why didn't I hear that? Oh, right, I was broke as shit. I ain't have no money to buy no CDs. So that's where it at. So just wanted to kind of do some of that. Vern, I know you were saying something similar. You felt a little disconnected from 98. Why is that, bro?
For sure. So I got married in 96. We had a 5-year-old, but my baby was born in 97. 98, nigga, you talking about you in Atlanta. We had bought a house, lost a house, moved to an apartment. I was working at FedEx. Well, we had one car. I would drop my wife off in Lithonia. Just say that. Take the girls to Cascade. Drive to Gwinnett to go work for a few hours. Pick up my wife. Take her to work, and then go get the girls. Get my wife. Come home. Sleep for a couple of hours. Go load trucks at FedEx from 10 to 3, and rinse and repeat. So, bruh, this was like third dairy on my list of things, bro. I was just trying to keep my sanity. So yeah, I missed this year.
Right. Pete, what about you? Where was you at?
Yeah, so I actually felt really connected to hip hop during 1998 because I'm not gonna divulge my age, but I was older. I was not a kid. I had just moved from, as you guys know, I always talk about it, I was living north of North Dakota, so in Manitoba, and we had just moved in 96 to BC, to Vancouver, and so I'm 2 years into having access to like hip hop. And the hip hop culture in Vancouver during that time was actually really vibrant. The Rascals were kind of local celebrities. People loved them. They kind of did, they were kind of everywhere, and everyone loved Red One, and he was always everywhere. And, they kept, even though the Rascals may not be, the best hip hop group at all, they definitely helped keep hip hop alive here. And, it was very dope. Like, I looked forward, it was, during these times that I would wait in line. I knew when the Source magazine and Vibe magazine was arriving at the 7-Eleven. And so I would be there, on that day, at that time, waiting for them to unbox it. Like, I actually was living my hip hop life because I had been starved for so long, for decades before. So anyways, for me, 1998, it's not by any means my favorite year in hip hop, but I was very much connected to hip hop.
That's dope. And again, for people watching, this is why I love doing this, because you realize people are in different walks in their life, you know what I mean, and different things. For the kid who's 14, you got your allowance and your mom's still buying you stuff, so you tapped into every album. Like Vern said, any dollar I got, you know what I mean? Like, Vern, that's crazy, bro, because that in 98, like, it was like when I think about now, I'm always like, I'm never going back there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being at Tower Records over there by Lennox, and some boy went in there and brought like all these box sets, spent like $500, and I was just sitting there like in awe, like, damn, one day I'm gonna be able to buy me a box set. Like, it was like I was daydreaming.
You was looking at them like the white one, like on B Street.
Right. I was sitting there like, one day I'm gonna be able to buy me a box set. You know what I mean? So, Cal, where was you at, man? I know we was out in Morgan, done with undergrad. So where was you at?
So it's funny you said that with almost like Vern. Got married in 96, had a kid in 96, but we moved from moved from Maryland back to New York. So 98, trying to, navigate 2-year-old son at this point, and just trying to move, different states, new job, all that stuff. So same thing. I'm kind of connected a little bit, but not as connected as, obviously got responsibilities now. So, so I can't concentrate on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I got other things I got to do rather than trying to buy this 5 albums. Now I got to buy milk and
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That money got to go different places now. So absolutely.
Right. And P, it's funny you talked about knowing when the Source was coming out, because again, Cal was the Source for me. You know what I mean? Like, this boy was like, it literally was like I was just waiting for him to, pop up, like, boom, new Source, like, and I would just always borrow his. So it's funny you said that. Well, what about you? Where were you at?
So mine's a little different. I was still in high school, and I just really started, I just started driving, you know what I mean, legally. And
that's a good thing to add on to, big.
Yeah, because we was known for getting in a squatter that you wasn't supposed to. But anyway, driving legally, and had a little job and all that, so I was able to buy a lot of these albums we're gonna talk about. Like, this was a different time for me. Like, this was a time where I'm still at home, so I don't have the responsibilities that you guys had at the time yet. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to kind of living, you know what I mean, a little bit during '98. Like, you know, I was hooping and girl, driving, and you know, hip hop. That was my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was fully engulfed in this year '98. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to, you know, spend my own money a lot and, you know, be out and doing things. So it was a little different for me.
Right. JR, what about you, bro?
Me and mom, we moved back up north then, because mom was finished with college then. So we moved back up north. It was just the feeling of being back home after being in South Carolina for 5 years. So
now how old are you? How old are you?
12.
12, okay.
So it was like a culture shock again, because it's like I had to be like, oh God, like, you know, in the South, it's like you can walk around it differently in the South than you do, and you know, at home. So it's like I'm coming back home, and we coming back home in the summer, but it's still like, it's different. And I'm trying to walk like I used to in South Carolina, but I can't because I'm back home. So it's like, it was kind of a culture shock, but then, you know, I got back into it, and obviously music really helped. And '98 was crazy with hip hop and R&B too. So it was like, I was good with it. So it was a good year to come back to, for real. So yeah, that's what I was.
All right, no doubt. Eddie's in the building. What's going on, bro?
Eddie.
What's good with you? Yo, real quick, bro. In '98, where were you at in life as far as, like, you know, with hip hop and everything?
Yo, '98 was a weird year because it was my graduation year, and it was also the year that I enlisted in the Marines. So it was like I had this. I remember there being stuff that I was looking forward to. You know, just beforehand, like albums. Like I remember the Cameron album being really anticipated. The Cameron, the Nori album, a few of them joints. DMX, I remember, was buzzing and stuff, and then there was like other stuff I missed. Like I feel like I missed out on the whole Black Star thing, just with everything going on with like going to the military and all that. And then Outkast was like, when I enlisted, that Outkast album was everywhere, so I couldn't escape that joint.
All right, no doubt, that makes sense. Enlisting, so people watching, you see everybody up here was in different places in their life. Some people were engulfed in the culture, some people were disconnected. JR is like 7 years old, so you know we're gonna get all these thoughts together. He was 7, if you know what I mean.
I owe you one. Yeah.
So you know we talking about that. So Porsche, I saw your tweet today. You have 5 albums to name.
Listen, I cannot say 2 of them, so I'm putting 2 on 1, and I'll give you 4 others. Or 3 others.
Y'all see what I deal with? I just want all the listeners to see.
So funny because everyone hits me up and they're like, man, I don't know how Kill lets you slide with that. I would never.
No, here's the wild part. I let her slide because that's my co-host. I hate doing the show without her. So it's like she gets special treatment. Like she's your favorite kid who you're not supposed to have a favorite. The thing is, Porsche, is that your shit has now transferred over to Twitter. So when I ask for 5 things and people give me 20, people are like, well, Porsche, you let Porsche. And I'm like, damn, people really need to understand favorites, y'all. Everybody out there has a favorite kid. Nobody wants to say, and this is easy coming from me who has 1 kid, but everybody out there has a fucking favorite kid. They just can't let that kid know they're their favorite kid. Now, I tell people this who work with kids all the time, nobody will never know my favorite kids. If you came to my hood, people be like, oh, it's Calvin, it's Gerard, it's Jeanette. You never are supposed to know, but I do have favorites. Sorry to say Porsche is one of my favorites. So, Porsche, how many? Go ahead. Get started, Jodeci. Get started, KC.
My number 1 is a shared number 1. I do not separate these. I separated them one time and I was sick over it. So when people say it's not that serious, we don't care. It is that serious to me, so I'm not separating them. I got Moment of Truth, Gangstar, Soul Survivor, Pete Rock. Those are my number 1 albums of that year. Love it.
Okay.
Everything about it. I mean, I mean, Moment of Truth and Soul Survivor. I mean, these are. I feel like it's self-explanatory. I mean, this is one of Gangstar's best albums. This is Pete Rock. I mean, God, he's got so many featured artists. All these people that Kill, you've talked about it on previous shows. Like, only Pete Rock could get these rappers together on one album in one session on one track. Like, it's just unbelievable. So those two are my absolute favorites of the year.
Okay. So someone like Firestorm. For my DC heads out there, Firestorm is a superhero where there's two people come together to create one superhero. So you're basically saying that's Moment of Truth and Soul Survivor for you. Okay. So that's your number one. You can give me your other 30 while we're here.
No, I can keep this one to a minimum. The other one I have is Aquemini. Again, Aquemini, this, I don't know if we're going to talk about our favorite memories, if it's a personal memory or a memory of like, you know, like a known thing. But if people pay attention to my previous episodes on Apartment 5B, I always talk about, I went to Arizona in December of 98, I want to say. And Aquemini had been released earlier that year. And I was there for a conference and I faked being sick. I faked all of this nonsense and I had to go get this album. I mean, we were talking about it the whole time. I couldn't get it back here. It's just, the record stores were not as plentiful as they were in the States. And then when we were there, half the hip hop albums were held up at customs. They didn't come in. They were late. Like, you know, they didn't put them out yet because they didn't know. And so I get to Phoenix, Arizona, and the first thing I do is I need to beeline it to a store to get this Aquemini album. So this album to me is just, it's got a good memory attached to it. It's a stellar album altogether. I mean, Skewed on the Barbie with Raekwon, like, it's such a dope joint. So yeah, I'll give you that.
All right. Yeah. What's the other five? You wish your other two?
Okay. Then I've got It's Dark and Hell is Hot by DMX. Again, I mean, we talk about DMX having 2 releases that year. And this one for me actually edges Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. So anyways, that one, and then Goody Mob's Still Standing. I love that joint too. So that's my list.
Right. No doubt. Setting my list off. I'm with P. I got Aquemini. It's literally one of my favorite albums of all time. Not just hip hop album. It's a top 20 hip hop album to me of all time. It's I don't know what the number would be of all time for any genre, but I just think this album is incredible. I mean, so much to say about it. Return of the Gangster, Spodioti, just so much stuff that went into this album to me that was incredible. I got Moment of Truth, of course, by Gangstar. Favorite tracks, you know, Above the Rim. This is what happens when you cook cheesesteaks all day. I've been cooking cheesesteaks for 2.5 hours, y'all, for like hungry kids. Then the staff started smelling it upstairs and they started coming down for cheesesteaks. I smell like a cheesesteak. Naomi was like, yo, take a shower, like you smell like you work at Pagano. So I'm tired. Above the Clouds, JFK to LAX, B.I. versus Friendship. That B.I. versus Friendship. If you haven't heard the original Isaac Hayes joint and what Preem did to that, it's mind-boggling. Next up, I have Soul Survivor. Like Poor said, Pete Rock. I honestly think this is the dopest producer album ever. Prior to this, it was always Marley's In Control Volume 1. But I mean, just again, like what Pete was saying, I think the thing that's hard with these producer albums that people wanted to do is they wanted to try to get the most random MCs and put them together on a song. And a lot of times it doesn't work. Pete was able to do that and make it work. You know what I mean? And then he just did some incredible songs. The song he had with 8 was crazy. The song he had with Loose Ends was crazy. Just everything was crazy on there. And it would be the most random shit. It was like, what Strange Fruit? Like Gaddafi, Sticky Fingers, and somebody. It would be the most random people. But
and Capadonna.
Yeah, and Capadonna. Like, dog, this sounds like a fucking hot fucking express train to hell, but it's like an incredible song. Shouts to Grab for Half Man, Half Amazing with Meth, who Grab did the track. Black Star, Respirations, Redefinition, Knowledge Yourself, all those high tech bangers, and then Capital Pun with Big Pun. You know what I mean? The thing that I probably was the most excited about was seeing Super Lyrical and seeing featuring Black Thought, because up to that point, you had never heard Black Thought on anything else but a Roots joint. So it was like, oh, okay, bet. Like, you know what I mean? He's a feature now. Like, this is dope. On the R&B side of things, now people always, it's one of those debates. I got the Miseducation. I don't see how people can consider this a hip hop album because she sings more than she raps, but either here I got that. The thing with Miseducation, this is probably one of those albums that the replay value was so much for me. Like, and I don't really even mean as the whole album. Like, when of course you heard Lost One on the radio, but when I heard X Factor, nigga, I may have played X Factor on, like, just keep going back, just over and over and over again. I mean, Zion, but I mean, Nothing Even Matters with D'Angelo, like, just perfect stuff. I got Into the Drew by Drew Hill. That's a 5 mic album to me. Love that album. Traces on My Lipstick, Escape, that was my shit. Embryo by Maxwell, and My Love Is Your Love by Whitney, with one of my favorite Whitney songs on there, Oh Yes by Missy. So yeah, that's my hip hop and R&B. Kel, what you got up for your top 5 hip hop albums?
All right, so I got, for the most part, most of the stuff that you guys mentioned: Gangsta, Moment of Truth, Big Pun, Capital Punishment, Outkast, Aquemini, Black Star, Respiration, and then my 5th is MOP, First Family for Life. That Full On Blaze of Jay-Z, I mean, that was my joint. I mean, I was just love that joint. You talk about the pun, going back to pun. Hearing, what do you call it? Not a Killer, and I think that's the first joint I ever heard from him. I'm like, yo, who's this rhyme? It was just kind of crazy and stuff. So, those are my 5 for 98. I don't have any R&B,
right,
so
no doubt.
Carry me in that. You and JR.
All right, no doubt. Bro, what you got, bro?
So yeah, I got Moment of Truth. Like, I got several memories about this album, like, during this year, and I just remember, like, looking in the source, and Crumb Snatcher had the hip hop quotable for his verse, Make 'Em Pay. I just remember reading it like, God damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, he went crazy, you know what I mean? So I think this was like Gang Starr's most, like, complete album, meaning well-rounded. Like, there was some experimentation, you know what I'm saying, on the album. And it was like, if somebody had never heard them, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to ease them into Gang Starr, this was what I would play for them. I would play Moment of Truth, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was one of my favorite albums. Soul Survivor, of course. Like Porsche said, I was just so amazed by the people he put on here on songs together. Like, it was just crazy. I was hyped when I seen 8 on there, because it's like, West Coast dude, like, you know what I mean? And he had Common, Pun, and Nori. Like, you know what I'm saying? The joint with what's the joint with Prodigy?
Oh, The Game. That shit crazy.
The Game, yeah, man. Like,
that beat, man.
Yeah, True Master was crazy. Like, and then then you got to join with Rough Ends. It's like, man, not Rough Ends.
Loose Ends.
Like, that shit was masterful. Like, and by the way, Kill's about to do one too, like an album like Soul Survivor. Just so y'all know.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
This is how busy I am in life that I need people to remind me. But yeah, we are.
Aquemini, one of the best albums ever to me. Like, it was, straight through. You know what I mean? Solid. The joint with Raekwon had me hyped, because I just didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying? That combination, but it worked perfectly. You know what I mean? I think Ray killed it. And then the Black Star album, classic. You know what I mean? What's the joint? It's like a posse cut that they went crazy on at the end. Was it Twice in a Lifetime? Something like that?
Yeah, Twice in a Lifetime. Yeah.
Man, crazy. And then Capital Punishment. When I heard Beware, like you start the album off like that, I was like, oh, this is about to be this is about to be crazy. Then he had to join, you know, at this time, you know, when I see Prodigy on stuff, I'm there. So he had to join with P and was it Deck?
Tres
like,
Leche, right?
Yeah, Tres Leche. In '98, those two on your song, come on, man. Like then you let Deck start, like, come on, man. Like you can't go wrong with that. You know what I mean? That's like the perfect combination. So yeah, those are my 5.
Yo, the thing about that Aquemini to me, I know for me at least, was, you know, Cal's known me probably the longest up here, but it's like I just was all boom bap. So the great thing about Aquemini was that like D'Angelo's kind of like what made me like listen to more R&B and stuff like that, because y'all know me, before R&B it was just slow jam tapes. Like I wasn't really, if it wasn't Jodeci or somebody like that, I really wasn't tapped in. But I think D'Angelo and the starting of that with Maxwell kind of got my ears open for a bigger sound. Because if not, the old kill would have liked the Aquemini. I would have been like, what the fuck is all these horns and what is this dude? Why is he talking like, you know how 3000 not rapping on Spodioti, like he's just kind of, I would have been like, man, what is this Def Jam poetry shit? So I know a lot of my niggas back in Philly like that are still on the block. They don't fuck with Outkast. Like after the second album, I know a lot of people who after the second album was like, nah, B, I'm good. I'm good with your man. He be wearing fucking blonde wigs and wearing football pads and I don't know what he be talking about. So I think for me at least that really D'Angelo, I owe a lot to Brown Sugar, kind of just opening my ears up to more than just boom bap, because I definitely could have seen the old kill shitting on this album. Like when I say it's a top 20 album, niggas really be like, yo, you done lost your goddamn mind. You've been out there in the DMV too long, bro. Like that shit ain't like that. Like you hear Moment of Truth and I'm like, yo, I love Moment of Truth, but Moment of Truth and fucking Aquemini to me ain't even on the same level, nowhere, no way. And that's no disrespect to Gangstar, because that's a 5-mic album. It's an incredible album, but I just think Aquemini is just big. So I know for me, my ears wouldn't have been ready for it without D'Angelo and stuff like that. JR, what's going on with you? Top 5 joints.
All right, well, I'm keep it strictly R&B then. Number 1 is Brandy's Never Say Never.
Yes.
What's the single off of this? What do we? I always get Brandy's albums confused. So what's the single?
Boy Is My Angel in Disguise. You Don't Know Me. Have You Ever? Almost Doesn't Count.
Okay, bet.
That's a dope album. I forgot that's dope.
Yes, that's my favorite album of '98. Number 2 is definitely Lauren, The Miseducation. I think everybody was on that. For real. 3, I had Drew Hill with Into the Drew, which I love that album, man. I played that out. Faith's Keep the Faith. That album means a lot to me because the song Keep the Faith, that song done got me through some things. So that album is that. And then Kill, I'm ending it with Whitney's My Love Is Your Love.
Okay.
Oh yes, it's that joint. Like a lot of people on that record, but the passion that Whitney put into that record, and you know, Little Mo did the demo. So
I didn't know that.
Yes, Little Mo did the demo for Oh Yes. So she
is that like floating around? Is that like floating around on YouTube or something?
No, but Little Mo did like an interview and she said, you know, what's her name? Missy said, yo, come to the studio. I got Whitney coming. And she did the song, and then she actually didn't like coach Whitney, but she was letting Whitney know how she did it and all that. And she said it was an experience to be in the studio coaching somebody she looked up to. So that was dope. And when you hear Oh Yes, it sounds like a Little Mo record, like it does. So yeah.
See, I don't have that ear. I don't have that R&B ear. Like I don't know what a Little Mo record sounds like. But yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite Whitney joints. Like she bodied that. She bodied that. Eddie, would you say, Cal?
I said I never even heard the Whitney album. I gotta go listen to it,
bro. You gotta hear that. You gotta hear that. Oh Yes joint. It's crazy. It's crazy. Eddie, what you got for your 5 joints, bro?
My number 1, Outkast Aquemini, man. For all the reasons you said, man, and I think it definitely hit different. Like when you would folks like from different parts. Like I was already like in the military, and I've shared this on the podcast before, like how we'd have music debates, and it'll be refreshing because, you know, it's not just someone from New York who's just like boom bap and has a singular mind state. Like everyone's just kind of explaining their style, whatever. So, you know, and I already rock with Outkast from the ATLiens joint, you know what I'm saying? But definitely they took it another level on this. Like I think the experimentation with the sounds, like even to have a joint like Spody Odie that's like very non-traditional hip hop, like it just sounds like some pimp shit, you know, and but it's dope as hell. So definitely my favorite album out of '98. So also, since Portia already introduced this, I'm gonna steal it from her. The Gangstar and Pete Rock combo. I'm a bundle that. I'm gonna use that bundle. You know what I'm
These
saying?
motherfuckers are bundling. These niggas are watching AT&T commercials. Like, I'm just gonna bundle. What is it, Progressive? You can bundle your homeowners and your autos all together and get a discount. Okay, we are now bundling.
Bundling my internet and my cable TV.
Right. Yo, it's Comcast. We're gonna bundle everything together. See what you done started, Porsche?
I know. I love it.
We're never gonna get any straight answers out of anybody ever again because they're gonna bundle everything now.
Nah, man, but Moment of Truth, I go back and forth, you know what I'm saying, between Moment of Truth and you know, gosh, I'm
Hard to Earn
and Hard to Earn. You know what I'm saying? Those are my two favorites, man. But whenever I listen to Moment of Truth, like you got a 20-track album that doesn't feel like 20 track. You know what I'm saying? Like most 20-track albums are bloated as hell. You're trying to skip around. Like maybe you might say them all, you know what I'm saying? But by the time you get to them all, you're in the latter part of the album. You know what I'm saying? Like just the way it kicks off. I mean, saying like the Above the Clouds, like you said, JFK to LAX, Make You Pay, like Rel said with that Crumb Snatcher verse. You know what I'm saying? Next Time, yo, like I feel like that's a slept on. Like Guru went off on that joint. You know what I'm saying? It just gave Guru just showed his versatility throughout the whole album. You know what I'm saying? And Premier was in his bag. You know, so there we go with that. And you know, Soul Survivor. I mean, I feel like Pete Rock really created a new genre, man. Like with that album. You know what I'm saying? Like who was really doing? And maybe you might say Marley Marl with In Control. But I feel like what Pete Rock did and pairing artists and, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Marley Marl kind of worked with artists within his own kind of stable, you know what I'm saying? Pete Rock was working with everyone, you know what I'm saying? East Coast, West Coast, kind of bringing it all together, which was really rare too, you know what I'm saying? So I love what he did with the album. I mean, I could just listen to the instrumentals on its own, you know what I mean? Then I gotta go Capital Punishment, man, Big Pun. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like, you know, to me it's not a flawless album. It got tracks I skip, but you know, the meat and potatoes of that album is crazy. You know what I'm saying? We talked about like Super Lyrical with Black Thought, you know what I'm saying? You Ain't a Killer. You know what I'm saying? I ain't a put like I might be the only one besides Pun who actually likes the OG I'm Not a Player. Everyone talks about the remakes. I like the OG as well, you know what I'm saying? Tres Leches is crazy, you know what I'm saying? Twins, the deep cover remix with Fat Joe, that joint is crazy. Then I gotta go with DMX. It's Hot in Hell and Hell is Hot. I know DMX not for everyone, you know what I'm saying, but that album crazy, man. Like stop being greedy, you know what I'm saying? You got the ATF joint, Rough Riders Anthem, like Get At Me Dog. I mean, that was crazy, like debut album, and the fact that he was able to follow it up that same year is crazy. And Black Star, you know what I'm saying? Black Star album. Like I said, man, I was a little late to that joint, just because when it came out, when that album drops, I was in boot camp. You know what I'm saying? I was still in boot camp, doing my thing. I kind of missed it, but I discovered it, like, you know what I'm saying, shortly after, man, and it's just incredible, you know what I'm saying, to have Mos and Kweli, you know what I'm saying, like, obviously Respiration, Definition, Redefinition, Knowledge of Self, all of them, so yeah, that wraps it up for me.
Here's the funny thing, y'all. Moment of Truth, 5 mic album. Top 5 album of the year. I think I'm the only human being who, like, this is like my 3rd favorite Gangstar album.
I ain't mad at that, though. I ain't mad at that. They got a crazy.
You like all the, what's your second one?
Daily Operations is my number 1.
Okay. Oh, Daily Operations.
Is number 1. Okay.
Moment of Truth is number 3. And again, I want people watching 5 mics. Makes my top 5 of the year. But I'm not gonna hold you. When I heard My Steez, and again, this is the producer in me. I'm a Primo junkie, so this may be the producer talking. I hear My Steez, and I'm like, this is cool, but this is the first single. Like, Mass Appeal was your last first single. Like, this is the first single. Robin Hood Theory. I was like, I'm not like I'm 2 songs into this album. I remember because remember y'all, I'm broke. So I brought this album. I mean, I'm like buying this album over food broke. See, let's define broke. I'm talking broke where you got to decide, am I buying an album or am I eating tonight type broke. That's the broke I was at. So I buy this album, I put in My Steez. I'm like, I really don't like this in the first place, but let's go number 2. Robin Hood Theory. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, y'all? Come on. Now Work comes in and saves the day. I'm feeling good. Royalty comes in, I'm feeling great. Above the Clouds, I'm like, yo, this is the greatest group ever. JFK to LAX, I'm like, this shit is the greatest. It's a Setup comes in. And I'm like, oh okay. We kind of dip off a little bit. Then we go to Moment of Truth. I love it. I'm back up. And the B.I. versus Friendship, I'm back up. The Militia, I'm back up. Then the rap grows bigger. And I'm like, okay, we're going down. And then What I'm Here For, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the beat that Roots played me for Source Money. And I said, don't give that shit to Source. And it ended up being on this album. And then we go for She Knows What She Wants. And I'm just like, it's like a roller coaster ride to me. But then we go to New York Straight Talk. And I'm like, oh, this shit is crazy. And then I'm like, My Advice to You. And I'm like, yeah. Then I'm like, Make 'Em Pay. I'm like, yeah. And then the more I'm like, oh. And then I'm Betrayed. I'm like, yeah. And the next I'm like, and then it's this up and down roller coaster album for me. And I think it's still an incredible album. It's a 5 mic album. I was so happy it went platinum for them because Preem would always talk about he has all these plaques for doing other artists, nothing for Gangstar. But it was just a very up and down. It didn't connect for me the way Hard to Earn kind of did. And you just press play and I don't have to skip. Like some of these songs, like Deadass, like from She Knows What She Wants. I mean, My Advice to You, The Mall, like half these joints, I couldn't even rhyme along. Like Deadass, I may not have heard some of these songs since 1998 because it just wasn't there. I'm not shitting on this album, but I was just sitting here while Eddie was talking. I'm like, yo, I'm looking at these like, yeah, I really wasn't. Robin Hood Theory, I couldn't quote you one line from that song. Not one. Straight, full scholarship for Naomi to go to college. Couldn't tell you one line. Couldn't tell you the hook. Couldn't tell you if he scratched anything. Have no idea. So, and I'm not shitting on the album. I'm just again saying this was a very I wasn't super duper. I think I'm the only person who wasn't super duper happy with this album. I know the rest of the world loves the album, and Quest would talk about how he go in the studio and Dilla would be playing something, and Preem would be playing this, and everybody would be jumping up and down, and I was just like, okay, cool. It's just me. Slept on the albums.
Wait, I have a question before we move on. I just want to know because all of you guys named Capital Punishment on your albums, and I just want to know because if you guys know my gripe with this album, I both love it and hate it because the runtime is 1 hour and 11 minutes. He's got 7 skits that have no bearing on the track list, so they're not used in the correct way that a skit or interlude should be used. I know for a fact, and I don't care how many people out there want to deny it, I don't believe anybody listens to them. I think everybody skips every single one of them, including the intro. And yet, it appears on everybody's top lists. And let me tell you, I have a gripe with this, is because no other album in the history of any genre can get a pass for having 7 skips on it that the artist intentionally put on that album, and then it ends up on a top list. So I'm going to need to hear from the panel, okay, about why this album gets a pass, but no other album in the world gets a pass. I just want to
say one thing. I will say one thing. You talk about the skits. Packing the Mac in the back of the act gets played every single time. That joint never gets skit. Like, that shit hilarious, yo.
I'll say this, P. I'll say this. For me, I don't really count interludes against you. Like, if they were songs, I would count. Like, for instance, I don't think the average person, after they hear the interlude for the first time, listens to them again. So, I mean, 3 Feet High and Rise, there's a rack of skits on there. You know what I mean? That I'm not listening to. But I'm gonna skip them. But it was like, it was cool when I first heard them. Y'all know me from this show. I don't like skits, interludes, intros. I don't want to hear about you knuckling nobody down. Just let me pop your CD and hit play and hear a song. I don't need a soliloquy. I don't need any of that. I hate skits. I hate all of that. So that's just for me. That it's a skit for me is different than a song. And it's almost just like, that was just the dumb shit dudes was doing back then. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not trying to give it a pass. If there were 7 songs that I had to skip, that would be different. You know, but interludes like don't really like take away from the album for me, because again, I've never liked any of them. So if that was the case, there'd be a lot of albums that don't get the 5 mic rating.
But not a lot of albums have as many skits and interludes as Capital Punishment does. This is an exceptionally like one-off album that has like the only other person that incorporates skits is Master Ace, and he does that flawlessly. He does that the way a skit and an interlude is intended to be for an album. Pun, really, it's bloat. This is bloat, and I need everyone to kind of accept that, because I'm going to tell you this. My only thing is, and Kel, I know you're going to speak next, and you can totally like address this, but in school, if you intentionally add something into your paper and you submit this, the prof and the teacher is not going to look at this and be like, you know, that's what these guys were just doing back then. Okay, you know what? This doesn't really make sense here, but I'll just no. Okay, we didn't really need to put that. This has nothing to do with the paper, but I'm just gonna, no, it's not happening. So we need to address and acknowledge that Pun intentionally put these in there. This needs to be held against him. Listen, I love Pun. Capital Punishment is a stellar album.
This sounds like a court show, Porsche. It sounds like we gotta bring Trey Lee back in.
No, I just want to know why this album repeatedly appears and people give it 5 mics, and people are, you know, it's on all the top lists and it's one of the greatest ever, and Pun has cemented his, you know, his ranks in hip hop over this one album, and we're not really acknowledging it for what it is. And I just want to know. Kel,
what you got, Kel?
I was gonna say, I think kind of what Kel said about De La, 3 Feet High and Rise, the whole skit thing is them introducing is the, you know, the start of that. But I kind of I'm swayed a little bit with what Porsche said. De La Soul's dead. I've said on your show too. I didn't like it when I first said that, and I think it was the skits that dragged it down. When I listen to De La Soul's dead now, I take the skits out. To me, I mean, everybody says it's a 5 mic class, but I hear why it's 5 mics when I take the skits. I don't like it, so I'm swayed a little bit by that. But at the same time, Capital Punishment, the album is so strong. It's kind of hard to the skits. It overpowers the skit.
It's a great album, but anyways.
What were you gonna say, Eddie?
Or Eddie?
What I was gonna say is that there's certain albums that to me are 5 mics because there's no weak tracks, like the flow of the album is perfect. And I'm not saying Capital Punishment is that. Capital Punishment has so many songs for me that I could say are like 5 mic songs. And when you have that, like, God, like Beware, Super Lyricals, Still Not a Player, Dream Shatterer, You Ain't a Killer, like, You know what I'm saying?
You guys are
Twins.
wrong. This is a fantastic album. This is undeniable.
You
and
know,
I want to be very clear.
yeah. So for me, if any of those songs that I mentioned were even a little bit of a tier lower, then I wouldn't be saying the things I say about this album. But because the highs are so high, I'm not gonna overlook it. And like Kill and Kelv was saying, like the skits I can skip them when I'm not feeling them. I can skip them. Like some of them I play. Like I said, the Pack in the Mac in the back of the act. Like, you know, Call Me Immature. I still think is funny. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it to me. I think the album is entirely too long, to be honest. I wish it was shorter.
Eddie, it's on your top list, so I'm going to negate that comment. So.
No, it is too long, but like the highs, like I said, the highs are as high as anything else that dropped in '98.
JR, you're laughing.
No, because Portia is not pulling for nothing. Like she.
I think the thing at the end of the day is P holds skits and interludes against the album. Yeah. I just don't. You know what I mean? So it's just.
Oh, wait, half a mic from Big over a freaking interlude or skit or the intro to a song. I'm ready. I'm not about to let any rapper slide with it.
Hold on, what happened?
They killed Big for the interludes on Ready to Die.
There is a rude and unnecessary beginning to a track on Ready to Die, and for that reason, I've docked Big a half a mic. That album is nice.
But that's the thing. As the professor, you would dock somebody that for the interlude. Just as another teacher in another class, I wouldn't dock you for that, because as much as I hate them, I just understand that that's just something people were doing. You know what I mean? So I think the any skit with any type of fucking to me is just whack. Like, I don't get it. Like I don't get it. Like, what are y'all really fucking? Are y'all just rocking back and forth in the chair? Like, I can't see myself being in the studio like, yo, suck a bottle, make a noise, fuck the bed. Like, I can't. I'm not sitting in the fucking studio recording that shit. So for me, that's just whack. Like, you know, and if you're really fucking, I don't want to watch you fuck. So go somewhere else and put the mic under the bed. So I think all that shit is whack. But that's just what niggas do. You know what I mean? It's like somewhere along the line, these rappers and producers thought they was fucking Spike Lee and was trying to make movies, visual movies. So again, I don't like skits at all. But if that was the case, we'd be missing out on a whole lot of 5 mic albums if I was like knocking niggas for skit. I hate prodigies. Yo, if you come see me, you're gonna get knuckled down. Oh my God, I haven't heard. I mean, I can't take. I can't. But I can't knock the infamous being 5 mics. Because it's, you know, this dude is talking his shit. You know what I mean? Ralph, what you think, man?
Yeah. I think the highs on the album, it outweighs the skits being on there, like too many of them, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really dock it too much for it, you know what I mean? I think the album is a little too lengthy, but the high, like Eddie said, the highs are like some of the highest of anything. You know what I'm saying?
I don't agree, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not.
I think that also
the highs are very high.
I think also like the anticipation and living up to the anticipation and the lyricism and it's just too good of an album for me to hold those skits against it, to me, you know what I'm saying?
Now here's the thing, Porsche, when you first heard the album, because keep in mind, I never heard any complaints about the interludes until social media. So like, I never heard anybody like in 97 being like, oh, the album is dope, but it's too many skits. Or, oh, the album is dope, is the, you know, so when you first heard it, were you like taken back by the skits from the door?
So I always listen to, and you guys know the way I listen to music. I mean, I listen to it for content first, and then how much that makes sense, and then I run it back. So I listen to albums like 3 times or 4 times before I come up with an overall opinion about it, because I segment it and listen to it that way. When I first heard it, I ran it through because that was the intended track list that Pun put together, or they put together for it. So I was like, okay, let's see how it is. The second time I ran it through, I was like, this isn't needed, this isn't needed, this isn't needed, this isn't needed. Then you start like, I don't need to hear this. This is 57 seconds of nothing. This is 33 seconds of nothing. Like, it's taking up a whole track position for nothing. And so the more I listened to it, the more it started tapping on my nerves. So it wasn't, and again, I agree with everybody that the highs are very, very high. Pun is stellar. Breath control, lyricism, flow, cadence. Like, Pun is a stellar rapper. I just think Capital Punishment we need to be very honest about Capital Punishment, and I feel like we give it a pass more than we should. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, cool. And again, I would say that's for you. I don't know if we, as the hip hop community, give it a pass. You know what I mean? Just based off the fact, like I said,
because other rappers get crucified for doing this.
Well, here's the thing. All we can ever do is speak for ourselves. Right. I crucify everybody for any skit because I hate them shits. It's like a waste of time. And it's literally like, I can't hold it against them because that's just what y'all do. As an executive producer, I feel like that I wouldn't allow it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it would be like, we could say Pun is a horrible executive producer. We could say there are a lot of albums that may not have a good track listing, that may not be put together good. Like, I don't know if that's the rapper's fault, if that's the exec's fault, and things like that. But I mean, I like I said, for me, I don't crucify other people. Now, if you see people who are like crucifying someone else and they're not crucifying Pun, those would be the people who need to be checked, because like, well, why does such and such get a pass, but why does Pun get a pass, but then you're saying this about them? I hate all skits, so none of them fuckers get a pass for me. It's just like, I've had to learn that, like, I'm the odd man out. Like, Rel knows. Now all of a sudden in 2024, everybody wants to act like they don't fuck with Cheese Whiz. So I just bite the L and just saying, okay, I'm just the only person who fucking likes Cheese Whiz, and every fucking cheesesteak spot in Philly keeps Whiz on tap just in case I come to town again, which is great. I guess I'm the fucking man, but other people eat Cheese Whiz too. So, yeah, Porsche, I'm sorry. I want you to point this motherfucker out who be giving people passes, giving Pun pass, but then just other people.
I appreciate you guys because I value your opinions and I love your guys' insight. So that's why I asked this panel. I don't mean to personally say that you guys are doing this. I just am speaking to you all. That's why I'm saying you. But I just really appreciate you guys, and I apologize that segment went a little longer than I had intended. I apologize, but thank you.
No, not nigga. You're the co-host. You want to take over the show, Porsche? Go ahead. Like, drive the car. Dang. Like, you got your license. Drive. So, slept on albums. Porsche, what do you have slept on for this year?
Okay, I've got Pieces of a Man by AZ. Like, here's the thing. I feel like AZ is just slept on in general after Do or Die. I just think that, and with good reason. I mean, I think as a hip hop community, we expected maybe more, and we just didn't get it. And maybe it was because it was the shadow of Nas, and it was all these things that played into it. But I love AZ as a rapper. I think I like his albums more than most people do. So for me, Pieces of a Man is definitely on my slept on joints. I haven't really ranked these ones, but it's just on there. And again, of course, my favorite is the joint that Nas is featured on, which is How You Livin'. Then I got Corruption by Corrupt. Again, incredible. Corrupt is just dope in general. Yeah, okay, I love Corrupt. Nori, I got the NORE album. Love that album. I wrote an article about that album. I really dove in deep to that, and I think writing that article made me love it even more than I did initially. And it's just, here's a great example. Like, the Animal Thug interlude is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Sometimes I only play that album. I pull up that album just to hear that interlude. Like, that's what I'm saying. When people do it right, they can really do it right. So that NORE album is amazing. And of course, like Banned from TV, Super Thug, Mathematics, like it's just got a great track list. And then I got Rhythmalism by DJ Quick. Again, I think DJ Quick is generally slept on as a producer, as an MC, and he's on my top list for best producers that rap. So for me, Rhythmalism is another one. And of course, The Lox, Money, Power, Respect. I love that album too. I think The Lox are, at that time, I think maybe they're not so slept on because they were so like in the limelight, but I feel like we don't talk about that particular album as much. So that's my list.
All right, no doubt. For me, I got Goody Mob, Still Standing. Again, I was living in ATL when this dropped. Something about just being in ATL, like with them albums, were out. Yeah, I was living. I'm bugging now because I moved back to Baltimore to go back to EAA, like in the middle of '98. So the first part, I was still in Atlanta. Second part, I was back in Baltimore. So Still Standing, Black Ice, incredible, posse cut right there that nobody talks about. I actually like the single They Don't Dance No More, Beautiful Skin, Third Eye Vision, Hieroglyphics. This was like one of their first independent albums that they dropped. Kelv, you said it, First Family for Life with MOP. I don't think enough people talk about this album. I mean, Breaking the Rules, Downtown Swing of '98, Handle Your Biz with the remix. El Nino, Def Squad. Yo, when I heard Checking Me Out, that shit was crazy. Full Cooperation, Countdown. And here's the thing, y'all. It's a crazy thing. Y'all know me. People say this on Twitter, Kill, you just want people to, agree with you or you block them. And that's a lie from the pit of hell. Niggas love to say that shit. They don't ever want to say, I've been stalking you for 42 hours, telling you the same shit. That's why I blocked you, nigga. I didn't block you because I disagreed. You disagreed with me. I blocked you because it was like, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, it's over. Like, let's move on. And you keep coming. That's why I blocked you. Not because... Yeah, not because you disagreed with me. Again, me and my co-host, when me and Porsche met, we didn't agree on anything. To the point that when we agreed on something, we were like, yo, what the fuck? We never agree. And that's why I wanted her to be the co-host, because to me, it would have been whack to have somebody who just thinks the same way I think. That's whack to me, So this is why Porsche brings the DJ Quick and the Tupac and all the other vibes of hip-hop that may not be my favorite to the show. So that's not the reason. But I say all that to say, the love movement. I don't hate the love movement as much as the rest of America hates the love movement. I don't. I know people gonna call me crazy. Nick has called me crazy. I like the love movement better than Beach Rhymes of Life. And I'm okay with being by myself. I'm totally okay with that. I'm not one of them Twitter people who like, oh no, I need to get 8 people to touch and agree with me. We are not in church. I don't need nobody to touch and agree with me. I just like the love movement better. Is there some whack songs on there? Yes, that shit with Nori, with fucking Tip sounding like ABC. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I like it better. And maybe just because I hated Consequence at that time, so just having the album with no consequence just makes up for everything. Maybe that was it. But yeah, I like the love movement. Find a Way to me was crazy. Like It Like That was crazy. The song The Love to me was crazy. So yeah, that's what I got. Kelv, slept on albums. Oh, and for R&B, I got Les Nubians. Is that how you pronounce it, JR? Yeah, Les Nubians. So yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Kel, what you got for your slept on joints?
So, album that you was funny you said that albums that you guys had in your top 5. So I got Soul Survivor as my slept on, one of my slept on albums.
Nice.
I love that album. I don't think it gets enough recognition. So
yes, agreed.
Obviously, dope album. I got Nori, like of course said. I love Super Thug and NRE. That was my joint. Just Trackmasters. I was like, what, that was different for me. It didn't sound like the Nas joint when they produced that joint. I got Redman, Doc's the Name. I think obviously What the Album and Muddy Waters get so much props. There's a Dark Side. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people think it's Red's best album. I guess he was on Twitter earlier this week talking about he didn't really like the album too much, but I think Doc's the Name gets slept on so much. I Be That. I love the video more so. The song is dope, but the video just brings over the edge and stuff like that. The Goodness with Busta. So those are my 3.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what you got up?
So I got the Locks, Money, Power, Respect. I think they get like a bad rap for that album. Like, I don't know. That album is cool to me. I like it. You know what I mean? They got some good stuff on that album, man. Like, I think they get like I don't know. I don't think they like that album. And they, you know, people give them a bad rap for it, but I think it was a good album. Heavy Mental, Killer Priest. Yo, I ain't hear this album. This album is fire. Like if you, it's a lot to handle. It's you know, but it's a really good album. It's produced well, and you know, lyrics are on point. It's a really, really good album. Like me and my one of my best friends, like that was we played this album a lot that year. We played it a lot. So the Nori album was really good. It's really good. I Love My Life, Body in the Trunk, you know what I mean? You know, Banned from TV. Yo, that's a fire album. Like, it's not that many skips on that, like, to be honest. If you gonna keep it real, like, you're not skipping too many songs on that Nori album. Like, that Nori album was good, well produced, and yeah, it was a really good album. What I have? Oh, Pieces of a Man, AZ. I think the album was good. It was missing something, and I think that's like the thing with a lot of AZ's album, but it's like missing something that take it to the, you know, the next level. But the album was really good. There's some fire on there as well. And Razzcast, Razzassination. If you a Razzcast fan, listen to that joint. There's some fire on that album. It's the beats are, because Soul on Ice criticized because of the production. The production is better on Razzassination. But you know, the lyricism is a little better on Soul on Ice, but it's a solid album. That's mine.
All right, JR, you got any slept on R&B Jones?
Yeah, I got 3 of them. Number 1, it slept on is Embryo, because Embryo did not do well when it came out. People was not feeling it like that, which bugs me out, but people were not really feeling it like that. And I mean, even the rollout for it, because that video Maxwell first did with Coco Pure sucked.
Question: is that the one with him in the goddamn bathtub?
Yes,
like,
yes.
We can start and stop right there. Like, as soon as I saw a nigga in the bathtub, I was like, what are we doing?
I was like, I'm done. I was like, that's why we need to go to Maxwell and give us a Black and Black video. Like, that shit was stupid. And I'm like, you in the tub? Who the fuck want to see this? Like, no, like, you wildin'. Like, no. Like, then it goes from there to him on a merry-go-round. That shit didn't make no sense at all. So the whole rollout was messed up and all that kind of stuff, because we did an episode with Neltron talking about the album for real, and we kind of went in on the rollout because the videos was terrible and all that. And I don't think people were really ready for the album that Maxwell gave. Everybody wanted another Urban Hang Suite Part 2. You know what I'm saying? So when he did this, it was completely different, and everybody was like, we ain't feeling it like that. You know what I mean? So, but that, I got Playing Cheers to You.
That's 98?
That's 98.
Oh, yeah, put that on mine too, because that shit.
Yes, March of 98. Yes, this album is so underrated, and people don't rock with it, but I know why, because they were on Def Jam, and who was on Def Jam? Drew Hill. So they had to deal with them. So they come after them. But that album is so slick. Like, Timbaland ate the production on this album. They wrote a lot of this stuff. Static is crazy. R.I.P. to him. Like, so many people just, don't
What's
stop.
that joint? I-65 on there? Is that the shit?
I-65, Miss Parker, Top of the World. Like, people wilding. Like, this album was the shit, yo. For real. But, you know, they just started putting it on streaming, so y'all can check it out now, because before, the whole album wasn't on there. But now it is.
Or, God forbid, you could go to Amazon and buy it.
True. You right. Yeah, go buy it.
You know.
Yeah. So that one, and then my last one is actually Tamia, her 1998 album. A lot of people don't go to there. They go to the next one. You know, the one with Stranger in My House and Can't Go For That and all that, the joint on there. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you think it is about... Oh, I'm sorry, Kel. Go ahead.
No, real quick, JR, you said Player. Those are the ones that joined Drew Hill now, right?
Ain't that?
Yeah. Yeah, they joined them.
Yeah.
Gerald, Tamia, why do you think she didn't blow up? Like, I know for me, Tamia was like, she was always boring to me. She made boring love songs. I know Portia's laughing right now. I'm not even looking at her, but I feel the sense from Vancouver. Now I'm looking at her. She just, because there's boring love songs and then there's exciting love songs. You know what I mean? To me, she makes boring love songs. And she was like the Joan who was bad, but you make boring music, so you're not bad enough for me to pay attention to your boring music. But I mean, I know I'm not the only one, because she's not. I don't think Tamia is as big as she is. My favorite Tamia album is the one that recently dropped, and I say recent, probably 5 years ago, with Sandwich and the Soda. Like, I felt she was making more urban music, almost. Like, I felt like that.
Yeah, you definitely didn't listen to her debut then.
Well, you know why? Because you know what? And again, pardon me, I'm in college. Though you put a move on, you put a move on my heart was like, you know, I felt like
that wasn't on there though.
That was, I know that was on Q's joint, but that was like the song that was out there. And it was just like, okay, this is cool for a nigga getting married. So like, if I'm 20, maybe if I was 28, you put a move on my heart is my shit. You know what I mean? But it just wasn't speaking to where I was. That's why I'm always asking people, where were you? You know what I mean? So, you know, Kelv is married. Vern was married. Maybe that shit spoke to them. That shit was not speaking to me at Morgan at that time.
I love that joint.
So,
that was a joint.
Right. See, so to me, so why do you think Tamia hasn't blown up? Is the moral to the story?
I think for real, because first of all, it was a lot of females out there, first of all. And I think her being from Canada, who she had to go against, Deborah Cox. So that right.
But did Deborah Cox really blow up?
More than she did, yeah, because it's like when you think of Deborah Cox, you can think of that one song that she had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, even though I'm a fan of Tamia and I'm a fan of all her albums for real, when you think of her as a big whole, you thinking the only song that people gonna go to is You Put a Move on My Heart, because that's how we were introduced, and then Stranger in My House, which was the big song.
Or the joint with Fab.
Even though it was her song first.
Into You? Yeah.
Into You. That was on her debut. But then Fab redid it and
look at Porsche. Porsche always making art.
That song is so adorable. Like, that is the cutest song ever. Sorry.
All right, so and I feel what you're saying about that one song, because somebody was talking to me about Ninth Wonder, and I'm always dumbfounded when it's like, oh, Primo, Dilla, Pete Rock, and Ninth. I'm like, nigga, one of these people don't belong here. And that's no disrespect to Ninth, but I'm always like, what is Ninth's song? What is that one song? Like, even if you don't like Havoc, I could be like, nigga, Shook wants to. Shut up. You know, Big Joker. Where's your Big Joker? So I feel you with Tamia, because she really doesn't have that Big Joker with Deborah Cox. You know, you're not supposed to be here. That's the Big Joker. Right, you know?
Right.
Like, Ninth has done a lot of great songs, but I don't know if there's just one Big Joker you could throw out on Knife on the table to be like, boom, like, now what the fuck you gonna say?
Right, it's just the fact, and then like I said, yeah, Tamia got that. You put a move in I'm so into you, but now that Fab did it, his version did better than hers. That's on this, so everybody look at it as his song. You know what I mean?
I think she's boring, bro. And Fab
because to be honest with you, Ashanti was on it first.
Yeah,
Ashanti was on it first.
Ashanti did Fab's first.
Right, and then Herb didn't let that shit clear, so she only got to get on the album, and then they got Tamia to redo the single version.
Yeah,
but what I mean, what I mean by Tamia is like, I think Fab. All right, let me see how I can say this being politically correct in today's society. I don't know how to be politically correct. So you've got, you know how Chris Rock would be like, you got black people and then you got niggas. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, to me, like, when I say niggas, I'm talking about like the hip hop crowd. Right. I don't know if Tamia spoke to us. You know, Ashanti coming out with Irv Gotti, doing songs with Ja Rule, doing songs with Fat Joe. It's like, that spoke to us. Tamia, to me, didn't have that. Then when Fab got on it, that was her best, like, not almost like a crossover, but that was the first time Tamia kind of came over into our world because of Fab. I mean, because, and again,
don't you like spending time with you with Eric Benet?
Eric Benet ain't fucking part of the hip hop world. Like, I mean, you think about it
He
like
might not be, but I'm saying because you giving to me a lot of fever for real. for real.
I'm not giving a fever, but what I'm saying is when you look at it like this, all right, nobody wants to talk about this, but if we draw a line in the sand.
Yes.
D'Angelo was for hip hop.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't think that Eric Benet was not for hip hop niggas. There was no
But
nigga.
you like Maxwell, and they were the same.
But here's the thing, I didn't like Maxwell for years.
Oh.
I wasn't a fan of Maxwell in the beginning. I was one of those people who wasn't a fan of Maxwell in the beginning because, again, D'Angelo looked like the girl Tanya Pickleton said, a nigga's nigga. That's the way she described D'Angelo. Eric Benet is not a nigga's nigga. Like, if we just keeping it a buck, he's not. And I love Eric Benet's second album. What's that? What's the name of that album? With Georgie Porgy?
Yeah, A Day in the Life with to me is on that joint. Yeah.
I love the album. I love the song. But guess what? Now I'm older. I'm a little older. So again, that's all I'm saying is that to me, there are just people who I believe are not catered to, but that market of hip hop, young black folk that's over here, and I just don't believe Tamia really spoke to that market like that. What were you gonna say, Kel?
Almost to your point, Kill and Joe. I think the song, it seemed like she was trying a little bit with I don't know what album it is with Jermaine Dupri, the Imagination song.
Yeah, that's on this. That's on the debut. Yes,
that's on the debut. Okay, so but it didn't. It felt like she was trying. Like, all right, let me see if I can reach this part of the audience that I'm not connecting to. And that song to me didn't really do it. Didn't resonate. It didn't do anything.
And here's a hint and a half. If you trying to resonate with this audience, Jermaine Dupri is not the right nigga to fuck with. Like, we could just start and stop right there. Like, you're trying to get cosign from a nigga who we don't even fuck with like that. You know what I mean? So again, and it's no knock on to me because I think she's an incredible singer. You know, and I think these are the things that make me wonder because it's not like she's whack. You know what I mean? I mean, if niggas being niggas, I'ma say Faith. I say to me it looks better than Faith, but Faith spoke more to our audience. Right. So it's not even always about look. Hell, I remember when Faith was big and they wouldn't even shoot her from the bottom down. They only shot her from the top up. You see what I'm saying? But Faith definitely spoke more to the hip hop audience. You know, of course, with Bad Boy than Tamia did. So again, me calling her boring, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that I just don't think she spoke to our audience like that. And again, I'm only speaking for hip hop hood niggas. Like that person who lived in Montgomery County and had a good job and grew up, like maybe Tamia spoke to them. I'm like, you know, but there's a big ass difference between Moco and Southeast DC. That's all I'm saying. There's a big ass difference between, you know, Long Island and Flatbush. Two totally different worlds. So that's all I'm saying is that I didn't like my co-host said I didn't mean for that to go so long, you know, about why Tamia didn't blow up. But okay. JR, would you like to talk a little bit about what was the feeling of 98 with R&B? Where were we at with R&B?
Oh man, it was a lot. It was a lot when it came to R&B for real in 98 because this is the time where hip hop is really coming into R&B for real. You know what I mean? But we still had that feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's why we had, Faith and Kelly Price and Brandy and Lauren, and the sound was kind of changing now. You know what I mean? It was like with Rodney coming in, changing that sound, and it was becoming different now. So it was, it was a shift. It was shifting. And then once Brandy came with Never Say Never, everybody wanted that sound. So that's why Whitney, My Love Is Your Love, you know what I'm saying, sounded kind of different. You know what I mean? It brought her to a different audience because It's Not Right, It's Okay, and all that kind of stuff. So I think 98 started the shift again. You know what I mean? Because by 96, we were still kind of straight R&B world. 97 is when, all those 97 albums came out. And then 98 is when the shift happened. And then by 99, it was just hip-hop really took over of R&B then. And it was just like a rap. But we were still kind of there. And that's why we had so many dope albums in 98 for real.
All right. You just got me thinking again. I'm back on Tamia. See, now if Tamia would have done a fucking X Factor, You know what I mean? Like, to me, it just wasn't getting production like that. Like, to me, that X Factor beat, and I think production has a lot to do with it. Like, her production just wasn't, I don't know. I mean, what am I saying, y'all? Is it for the urban? I'm trying to say this in a good way. Like,
no, you just trying to say that she really did. Because Quincy Jones felt like that too. He also felt that he messed up with Tamia by her not popping like that. And to me, I think Tamia should have came out in 95 because that would have been best. So she could have did that adult contemporary style. There you
go. Adult contemporary.
Yes.
Niggas in 95 in Brooklyn and Philly and North Philadelphia didn't care nothing about no adult contemporary. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean by you had the hood and you had adult contemporary. You know, that's why we loved Miseducation. That's why people love X Factor. You know, that's why people love Faith. Like, she wasn't marketed towards us. You know what I mean? And when I say us, I don't mean black people. I'm saying hood black people. I don't know how to define it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That you're not getting in somebody's car, Kelvin Queens blasting Tamia, but you'll get in somebody's car who's blasting Miseducation. You know what I mean? Or blasting Faith's first album. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's all I'm saying. All right, albums that let you down this year. Wait. Oh, what's up, man?
I didn't do my slept on.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What you got?
All right, man. I'll try to go through it quick, man. First one I got, Capadonna the Pillage, man.
Oh,
you know, so you see, just getting the reaction, I know, like, slept on, like, just even in the Wu catalog, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has some bangers, yo, like, Slang Editorial, Run, the original Run, you know what I'm saying? Milk the Cow, all that stuff, man, you know what I'm saying? And he was, like, this was Capadonna in his bag, yo, like, and I felt like, since he was older, kind of, some people call him a Wu member, some people call him just Wu affiliate. I feel like once he fell off, but I feel like he dropped the album just at the right time when he still was in his bag, and it's just, to me, super dope album, you know what I'm saying? So I got that. Fat Joe, the Don Cartagena album. So my personal favorite Fat Joe album, I feel like it was dope, like definitely a lot of big pun appearances, you know what I'm saying? Like, have the John Blaze joint, you know what I'm saying, with who was on that? Nas was Jadakiss on there?
Kiss was on it. Yeah, Kiss was on it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And Ski killed it.
Nah, I mean it was a dope album. Definitely a dope album. Nori, I mean, everyone already talked about the Nori album. Definitely was a personal favorite of mine. You know what I'm saying? Had a lot of joints, and for someone who is not considered as like a very dope technical MC, but he really played to his strengths. You know what I'm saying? He had some joints on there. You know, like we talked about the Body in the Trunk with Nas, Banned from TV, NORE. You know what I'm saying? Super Thug. I like that joint. You know what I'm saying? So definitely had joints. This is one I don't hear talked about a lot. And maybe it was just me in New York, but DJ Clue, The Professional.
Good.
That came out in 98?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. Like that album, you know what I'm saying? Like, had the Fantastic Four joint with the Cannabis, Nori, Cameron, Big Pun. That joint was crazy. Like, my personal favorite, like, I used to run this shit back a lot. Exclusive new shit with Nature, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Good one, Eddie. That's a good one. Yeah. That song.
That joint was crazy. Then I'm going with Flip Mode Squad, the Imperial album. Dope album. To me, is one of the dopest posse albums. Like, you think of any MC who had a crew, I'll put that album up there. And Raw Digga bodied that album. Absolutely bodied that album. Like, if I have to give an MVP to anyone on that joint, it's going to Raw Digga. Body that joint.
All right, no doubt. joints that let you down from '98. P, do you have any albums that let you down?
I do. I have two. The Can I Bust album by Cannabis. I think that we talk about this all the time. I think Cannabis is just, I don't know. It kind of is sad for me because Cannabis started so strong in just everything. Like his featured verses were so good. Everything was just we just thought Cannabis was going to be the best ever, and he just wasn't. So Can I Bust was just a letdown. And Kill, you already mentioned it on your list, but The Love Movement. I just, again, a letdown for me personally. I know that there are people out there that like this album.
No, it's just me and Tip.
It is.
It's just me and Tip.
Making sure, because I was let down by that album. And as you said, it's funny because for the exact reasons you feel it's a slept-on joint, I feel like it was a letdown. Like, what the hell was it doing? It didn't really fit. It was a little here and there. It was a little mishmash. Like, I don't know. It just didn't. It was so disjointed. I don't know. It's just, it was a weird.
Hey, let me ask you a question. How did you feel about Beats, Rhymes, and Life? Like, did you like it or not?
So I didn't love Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I think it was good, but it wasn't like, I'm not gonna mention it all the time or go back to it. Right. But
so were you expecting a bounce back? Because I've met a lot of people who really didn't love Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and they were expecting like, okay, this is gonna be the old Tribe again. And you know, I think that I went in like, oh, Tribe is done. Like after Beats, Rhymes, and Life, I was like, so my expectations were super low. Yeah, so if you were expecting this to be like Midnight Marauders, because that's why I think so many people don't like this album. I mean, I'm not trying to sway anybody. I mean, if y'all think the shit's whack, shit's whack. But I do know expectations play a huge part in how we view music. I went into it like Tribe is done, and I heard Find a Way, and I was like, oh shit, this shit kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Where if you were expecting this bounce back album, like, oh, that was just a blip on the radar, and they're gonna come back in rare form on this album, then, you know.
Yeah, and I think that that's so important, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I think you're absolutely right. I think I thought, I don't want to say I was expecting like Midnight Marauders level, but I was expecting better. I don't know why I thought that it would be easy to just bounce back from that, but it just let me down. So my expectations definitely played a factor in there for sure.
I mean, hell, it's Tribe. It's one of the greatest groups ever. I mean, it would be like that with any other group. Like if an MC makes it done, like I know Kel, I'm sure you was like us in Philly. We was waiting for that next Big Daddy Kane to bounce back from Taste of Chocolate. Like I didn't think Kane's career was over. You know, it was like, all right, he'll bounce back, you know, and then it just didn't. Let down for me, Metropolis Gold, All City,
Metropolis Gold.
Metropolis, thank you. It's been a long fucking day, y'all. What did I just say?
Metropolitan.
And what's the name of it, Rap?
Metropolis Gold.
Thank you. Metropolis Gold, man. Metropolis Gold. Don't work with kids, boys and girls. All City.
That was 98 too?
That was 98 too. And after hearing the actual price list, I was like, yo, this album about to be crazy. And I should have known because Kel, the niggas came through the radio station and the little nigga was like, yeah, you know, I sing. I'm like, you sing where, my nigga? And he was like, no, I'm singing on the album. And for people watching, this is 1998. This is not 2024 with Drake and J. Cole and everybody singing shit. That shit would sink your career. He's like, no, I'm singing on the album. And I was like, that was a hint and a half right here that this album was not going to be good if you're singing on the album.
He was not lying because he sung on that. That album is strange because
I never heard the album.
That nigga said strange.
It went in so many directions. It was just like, yo. When I heard him start singing Daydream, and I was like, yo.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Like Daydream and Curtis Blow?
Yeah, looking back in time.
Yeah.
The corners of my mind, I saw you standing. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Get ready for Raul Tresvant, everybody. Get ready. Get ready. It's coming. The next joint I got, Street Cinema by Sporty Thieves. Not that I ever thought they were incredible MCs, but Ski was like one of my favorite producers at that time. It was Ski's Rock a Block record label. He was producing the whole album. I thought this shit was gonna be crazy. I should have known as soon as I heard No Pigeons or whatever that shit was. Like, this was not gonna be what I thought it was gonna be, and it wasn't. And again, I'm not saying that this is whack. I'm just saying my expectations. The Brand Nubians, the return. I really was thinking like, okay, Brand Nubians coming back together. You know, you waiting for this reunion. It's like, oh, Pooba's back, Sadat. You hear it. I wasn't even in love with the single. Like the first single, The Return, that Primo did. I thought it was cool. I thought it was too like slow for this to be the first single back. And there's some songs on there, but again, like I said to Portia about expectations, my expectations was this is gonna be like All for One all over again, because that's what it always felt like. It was like, yo, you know, Jamal and Sadat is cool, but it's missing Pooba, and like Pooba's cool, but he missing Jamal and Sadat. It's like, okay, they back together, Premier's on out, okay, this is gonna be crazy, and it wasn't. What are you gonna say, bro?
What do you rank that album, Mike wise? Because
maybe 3.
Okay, cool. I kind of liked it a little bit. Like it wasn't, you know, what I expected as far as, you know, with them getting back together. It wasn't like a classic by no means. Right. It was pretty cool though. But it had some cool songs on it.
Yeah, like Don't Let It Go to Your Head. Like this,
Back Up Off the Wall. I like
right, Back Up Off the Wall. Like that's why I said I'm not saying that this album is whack, because it's not. But it's just, again, expectations were like up here, and this is where if I had my A&R hat on, Preem plays that beat, I'm like, that's a cool beat. That ain't the single. Like, give us something else. Like, nah, nigga, we need something that's gonna be on the radio, something that's gonna get people pumped for this album, and that just wasn't it. The Rude Awakening by the Cocoa Brothers.
Oh man.
We could start with the name change. We could start with the No Beat Miners. The only Beat Miners track on there, I think, was Brooklyn, USA, and Spanish Harlem with Hurricane G, God Bless the Dead. Those are the only 2 songs that were on there. I still bang Spanish Harlem. If I'm ever doing a mix of old school shit, that's always going on there. And here's the thing. An album that a lot of people have named up here like, and I learned to like it, but first hearing the Nora album, I did not like it. Coming off of you know, the CNN album, I'm like, what is these Trackmaster beats? What is this NORE? Like, what is this sound? Like, where's Easy LP and where's the griminess? And then I'll never forget, I'm always telling folks, sometimes you just have to be in the element. Kel, me and Jay, so I don't know what industry party we was going to. We went to some industry party in New York, and like the city was just playing that everywhere you went. And it was just being in New York, hearing these songs, it just clicked for me. And it's like, you know what I mean? I went like, man, fuck that album. Came back like, oh shit, that's my shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was never a fan of Super Thug until they played it at that party, and it was like, oh, now I like it. So again, sometimes you just have to be there to really get it. For me, at least, because again, remember, I'm a hip hop snob. In '98, I'm a boom bap hip hop snob. I don't want to hear these Trackmaster beats. I don't want to hear, you know, these choruses. I want grimy Blood Money Noriega. I want, you know, that Noriega, not this Noriega. Well, Kel, any letdown albums for you this year?
So it hurts me because I got 2 Queens people in this group. So
I'm shocked that your soul is actually allowing you to say this.
It's tough, for real. Yeah, the Love Movement, obviously, the Tribe. I'm like, you know, like I said, Beast Rhymes in Life. I'm like, this is terrible. And then but I love Find a Way. But then I get the album, and I'm like, it's just not hitting for me. It's not Midnight. It's not Low End. It's not even People. So I'm like, that was just such a letdown for me. So I was hurt by that. Then I got G-Rap, Roots of Evil. I love Road to the Riches. I love Let Dead or Alive, Live and Let Die. I love even 456. So him coming to 456 now is, you know, with Fast Life and you know what I'm saying. So I'm expecting G-Rap, and then I mean, almost like you were saying, I can't recite any. I don't even know the songs on the album. I can't remember anything. I just remember there's some R&B joints. There's, you know, some of the. It doesn't sound like G-Rap, like you said with Nori. It's not his element. You know, it's just kind of whack to me. And then like Portia said, Cannabis. hearing all the freestyles and stuff like that, you just think the anticipation for Cannabis was so crazy. Everybody was expecting this to be dope. Even second round knockout, going at my man L. I'm like, it's a dope diss track. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. And hearing the album, complete letdown. So those are my three.
Crazy. Rel, what about you?
Yeah, so I got the Cannabis, John. Like, Cannabis is on fire. You heard him all over the Clue tapes, everywhere. You just hear Cannabis. He's killing freestyles, everything. And you know, you know, second round knockout was essentially the single. You know what I mean? You diss L. If you're gonna diss L, you better come with better than what you came with, which is when I argue with people about it, this is what I'm saying. Like, you diss L, you came out with that, like, and then he buried you on back where I belong. So it's like, but it was disappointing because talent wise, he was incredible. Like, I was worried though that he wasn't gonna be able to make songs. Like, I was worried about that because he could spit, give you 150 bars, you know what I'm saying? But getting somebody in there to help him format songs was important. And I don't think he had that. Like, I think Wyclef helped with that. And I'm just like, you know, he needed somebody to come in there and help him put out songs, format songs, like to capture, you know, all those lyrics that he does have, you know what I'm saying? That album was just, because it was anticipated, like, I don't know what, like, and it was crazy disappointing. I remember I was I was actually in Baltimore visiting Coppin, where I was going to go, and I went into the mall, Mondawmin Mall, if you in Baltimore, you know, and there used to be a record store. There's a record store upstairs. It used to be when I first, like, and they used to spin vinyl, all that, and they were playing.
My man Titan used to work there. What's that shit called? My man Titan.
But yo, they used to spin vinyl. It was a dope little spot, you know what I mean? And they were playing Get Retarded from Cannabis, and how he was. I was like, oh God! I said, this shit about to be crazy. When I got that album, I was so disappointed, bro. Like, I was disappointed. The Love Movement actually hurt because
word.
I was Tribe, Tribe. It's Tribe. You know how we felt about Tribe, man. Like, and the previous album, like, I don't hate that album as much as everybody else does. It ain't up to par.
And keep in mind, for people watching, I don't hate the album. I think it's a good 3.5 mic album.
Yeah.
4 mic on the most beautiful day God made. So again, it's not I don't like it. It's just, you, like Rel said, it's Tribe.
Yeah.
It's like I tell people, you don't pay and save up to go take your kid to see Steph Curry drop 17 points and shoot 3 from 32 from 3-pointers. Like, you have an expectation that if you're paying for these courtside seats, you want to see LeBron maybe drop 50. You want to see Steph do something incredible. You want to witness history. So that's what you're expecting from Tribe. You're expecting greatness. And when I heard Beat Tribe's Life, I'm like, okay, three mics, but this ain't Tribe. Like, come on.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. But, like, he coming off of Midnight Marauders, which I think is perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost a curse. Like, how do you match that? You know what I'm saying? And Beast Rhymes of Life was just, and then you had Consequence. And I know people don't like him. I felt he was put in a bad spot regardless. Because, like, then nobody really want to hear him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Everybody was looking. When you heard those, you started hearing them so much now, you was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? He could have been dope. But you was like, yo,
right.
Like, keep hearing this.
Bro, hold that for 1 second. I'm gonna give a quick 2-minute synopsis on what the fuck went wrong with Tribe. I wrote this down, but nobody reads no more. So this is what happened. Number one, after midnight, people have to look at some things. Fife moved to Atlanta. Why is that important? I'm a very big fan of Rel, JR, come to the crib, let's play beats, let's vibe together. Tribe, when it came time to do a Tribe album, yo, let's link up. You in Queens, I'm still in Queens. We had this synergy that we do. So Fife moves to Atlanta. Tip starts doing outside production. You know, he's doing the Get Down remix. He's doing the fucking World Is Yours remix. He's doing the infamous. I tell people, imagine if Beats, Rhymes, and Life was the Crooklyn beat. Imagine if it was the, you know, Drink Away Your Pain beat, the Temperatures Rising beat. You know, think about all those heaters that Tip gave away at that point. So now Tip is doing outside production. Ali is an A&R over here at Quest Records for Quincy's label Quest at the time. He's doing stuff over here with Greg Osby and people. So number one, it's the first time everybody's doing other things with their time. You know, it's almost like a marriage. If you and your wife are used to just being around each other, but now you got 2 part-time jobs and she on the choir and you on the, like, it takes apart from what's happened. And then on top of that, I heard there was a little beef, and then Tip was like, yo, fuck Fife, I'm gonna replace you with my cousin, Consequence. Which is why Consequence is all over the album, which is the second single, Stressed Out. Fife isn't even on the album copy of that. You know, then 2, next, Tip is becoming a Muslim. That's changing somebody's faith. I'll never forget when I came back to Morgan, I wasn't like super religious, but I was like, I'm not really with all this cursing. And I even had a meeting with my people at Strictly Hip Hop, like, yo, if y'all want me to step down, I'll step down, but I really don't want a lot of rah-rah music and, you know, shit being played. Like, you know what I mean? So him becoming a Muslim kind of, I think, may have affected some things. Now he's Kamal. Now he's Kamal. He's not John Davis anymore. So that's affecting some things. And then you bring in Dilla, who has a whole different sound than we're used to with the kicks and the snares of Tribe Called Quest. So I just think you put all those things together. I really think Tribe broke up after Midnight Marauders.
I agree.
You know, but they just didn't say we broke up. It was kind of like, let's try, let's keep trying. But it was like the magic wasn't there, you know, anymore. And it's like, you know, one of my homeboys, like, you know, he thought his parents got divorced when he graduated college, and they had already made an agreement like 6 years ago. Like, when he graduates, we're going to break up. Like, it's one of those things. And you're thinking like, oh, Tribe just broke up. Nah, niggas, them niggas broke up before. You know what I mean? So I think that's, if you put all that together, that's why Beats, Rhymes, and Life sounded like that. And then you're trying to go one more, let's see if we got anything else left in the tank before we call it a day. And they didn't really have anything left in the tank. And, you know, that's kind of the Tribe Called Quest story in a nutshell.
Yeah, like, so the sad part about it, like, is like on Beats, Rhymes, and Life, they give you like little snippets of greatness to where you like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you hear what's the joint Q-Tip by itself? Take Control, Take a Hold. What's the name of it?
Get a Hold. Get a Hold.
Crazy. Wordplay with them is crazy. Like they give you, and you like, damn, they give you like little snippets of greatness, but it just wasn't a complete project. And so like with the Love movement, I kind of was forcing myself to like it, and I couldn't do it. Like it just, like the song The Love I liked, and first single was cool, and I was hyped for it because it came, I don't know if you remember when you bought the CD, it came with another disc with like
with the remixes,
and it had with the remixes,
right.
So I finally had the Oh My God remix on CD,
the Scenario remix.
The Scenario remix, which I was happy about, but I just tried to force myself as a Tribe fan to like it, and it just wasn't doing it for me. It kind of hurt, you know what I'm saying?
To me, Beats, Rhymes, and Life and Love Movement is almost like them last 2 seasons of Martin, when Gina and Martin couldn't be in the same room, and it'd be like, where'd Gina go? Oh, she just left. Where'd Martin go? Oh, you just missed them. Like the magic was gone. But again, they're still trying. They still, we trying to keep this boat together, but it's like, nah, nobody was feeling them last 2 seasons of Martin or whatever like that.
My last joint is Cam's debut, Cameron's Confessions of Fire. Yeah, I was looking forward to Cam. Like he was killing the mixtapes too, and Confessions of Fire, just I didn't like the cover. That the cover is weird, and he had like too much weird stuff on there. Like I don't know, man. Like
that cover was crazy, man.
You said what?
That cover was crazy.
That cover is nuts. He has on
that was wild
overall, man, with a hammer. Like Like, I don't know.
Looking like John Henry, man.
Yeah.
He was building railroad tracks,
Yo,
man.
that's right. And then like the song with DMX wasn't on there, and then
Right,
like,
the Bullet.
Bullet
Bullet
on
was
there.
great.
And it was,
Yeah.
like he started off with Glory. Glory was hot.
Yeah.
But I'm like, where's put like so it had some good songs on it, but it was too much filler on there for me. So I actually like SDE is his best album from Cam to me. So, yeah, so I was disappointed in the Cam joint. That's it for
All right.
me.
Gerald, what about you?
I only have one that I was disappointed in, and that was Monica's "The Boy's Mine."
Yeah,
I
that was a
was-
very disappointing
I
album.
was very disappointed with it, especially after coming off Miss Thing. But you know what they were doing? They were trying to. Clive jumped in, and once "The Boy Is Mine" hit, let's get Monica an album out too, so we can cash in on that. So,
Boom, Monica. Who's that chick? Is it Diane Warren? Is that the songwriter? That's what I mean. Like those type of songs. Like you said, like there's always this place where I feel like Clive and other executives are like, we need that Diane Warren fucking Disney movie song for them. You know what I mean? Like that could be on a Disney soundtrack. That ain't for us. That's them Diane Warren songs are not for us.
yeah, there's
You know
some
what I mean?
adult contemporaries. Yes,
Right. I don't even know if that's adult contemporary. That's like that Disney soundtrack white people bullshit, man. I feel like that's the crossover. Like
yeah,
Diane Warren ain't black, right?
no.
She white, so we need this white woman to write us some white ass songs to sell us some records to these white ass people. Like that's to me, you know, essentially what was happening. I felt like even that's it with Tamia. Like we're marketing you to the white folk in the MoCo. For people out there, Montgomery County out here in the DMV, they call it MoCo. Like that's like, you know, the Real Housewives of Montgomery County type shit. Like that's next. I've been saying that since fucking 2010. That money is coming eventually. So yeah, that Diane Warren, like I felt like that's what that album was for. Like it wasn't, Miss Thing was for us. This second album wasn't for us.
Yeah, I mean, because she had a couple of joints that was for us, but other than that, like
but not
you said,
as a whole.
It was for them.
Right.
Yes, I get that. So it was very disappointing coming after that. That's why we got After the Storm. Monica came back to us again. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like
that's thank you for bringing up Monica, because that wraps up everything I feel about Tamia. Because after the storm, she came back. So just for people who weren't fucking with me, that's what I'm talking about. You left us and you came back. You know what I mean?
I feel like you say that about Tamia though, and I get it, and I totally understand, and I get where you coming from with it. But I think again, when you listen to Tamia's albums though, it's very R&B-ish though. It's not for them. Like when you got an album on her debut that got Tricky on it, you got Keith Crouch that did all the Brandy stuff. You had freaking Daryl Simmons. You had Mario Winans. Like you had these people have stuff that they made for us. It's just,
you know what?
I think it's.
I'm gonna throw another asterisk on us.
Okay.
Us is not R&B. So you know how you were saying that 97, 98 was like the fusion of the two?
Yeah.
So for instance, for me, I wasn't a big R&B dude. So all the producers you just named weren't making the R&B that I wanted to hear. They were making pure R&B. You know what I'm saying? So when you're making pure R&B, to me, Keith Crouch, that is definitely adult contemporary. That is not. I believe so.
You think Keith Crouch is adult contemporary? You got
Give me some stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Give me some stuff.
Down with Brandy. He did I Want to Be Down. He did, and you can't lie and say I Want to Be Down and y'all wasn't hard.
But here's the thing. Come on, Cal, talk to somebody. Was anybody playing fucking I Want to Be Down in they back?
Remix. Oh, the remix. Not the original, the remix though. Yeah.
Maybe the remix with Light and them. Nigga, I was never at no hood party and nobody's playing Brandy.
I think
they just weren't.
completely confused. I think you're saying that you are just the hip hop soul dude. That's just what it was.
I'm not just saying hip hop soul. Cal, somebody walk with me on this.
Because
Monica,
you said D'Angelo, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is, Monica, when you look at Monica's debut album, Brandy's debut album, you're looking at, number one, Monica is singing over Backseat of My Jeep by LL Cool J.
Right.
That
You
is
named
that
one
is
song.
that is
One
you
song
saying.
out of the complete album. One
No,
song.
but Pete Game, I'm about to say,
Okay.
Monica. So you're from the door. You're going that way. Brandy's "I Want to Be Down" is going that way. These songs are going in two totally different directions. Now, when you bring up "Before You Walk Out of My Life," you know what I love about it? The echoing horns.
The beat.
That Pete used to
Got
use.
it.
So it's not just about you singing over a beat, but I'm just like, yo, this shit got echoing horns and a slow jam before you walk out of my life.
And,
like, yo.
And like this and like that. That joint
Yeah,
is hard.
like this and like that, like the drum programming. I'm
And
like,
that's what the different. Yeah. I
right.
get
So
it.
that's what I mean. So Keith
I get
Crouch making "I Want to Be Down." It's a song that girls like, but I never got no nigga card. He's like, yo, listen to this. I like him 2 feet high, 10 feet wide. Nobody want to hear fucking like he's fucking light.
No, you just different. You a different.
No,
dude
I'm not.
when it comes to
JR,
R&B.
I agree with you.
No,
think-
because it be a lot of dudes on here when we are probably on this show, and we can talk about regular R&B, and you be by yourself because it be mad other dudes that be
Okay,
on here that be rocking with.
Here's the thing.
You
Here's
is
the
just
thing.
different, and I get it.
I
Like,
just hung with a lot of fucking killers and drug dealers.
I know you
and
did,
those
yeah.
motherfuckers was not playing "I Want to Be
I
Down."
never said they was. But you have the difference between adult contemporary saying to me is that, and she's not even that. Like whites don't even really know her like that. She's us.
But see,
She's
adult
us.
contemporary to me doesn't mean whites. Like,
When I said, hold on. When
growing
I
up in Philly, you had Power 99 and WDAS. WDAS was adult contemporary. That was Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, people that my parents listened to. Ain't nobody white. So when I say adult contemporary, I'm talking about that. You wasn't gonna hear Jodeci and Boyz II Men and none of that shit on WDAS. You had to listen to Power 99. So when I say adult contemporary, I'm saying for a more mature audience. I'm not talking about white people. That's crossover.
Yeah.
So that's why I said when everybody would have that one Diane Warren song, that was every record label's hope and dream that the fucking Princess Disney movie will pick up this song and white people and little kids will like it. That's the crossover to white people folk. Adult contemporary is just more of a mature crowd. Like now I'm adult contemporary, so
wow,
you know,
I
like
didn't know that. I guess we got out what you call because I would think adult contemporary would be like when you hear you just said Diane Warren joint, right?
Nah, that's crossover shit.
That's crossover for you, right? But
Right.
I think like Monica did For You I Will, which was Diane Warren, right?
Right.
They gonna play that on adult contemporary, which I feel like is crossover stuff. You gonna hear that record, when you hear Monica's For You I Will, you gonna hear like a Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. That's what you gonna hear. Like that is adult contemporary to
People
me.
Bryson, right?
Like yes, or you gonna hear People Bryson and him and Regina Bell. Like that's adult contemporary to me. It's
right, but see, I think, but I think that's the thing for me. Adult contemporary, like People Bryson, I didn't look at him as like, oh, this is for white people, this is for white folk. I just look at People Bryson like this is for old niggas shit. Like this is what my dad listened to. I'm 50. My dad and my mom had me when they were 22. So my dad and mom are 22 years older than me. So that was they shit. Like even with who's the joint we all loved off of Quincy Jones? Secret Garden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm down with Albie and El DeBarge, but James Ingram, I'm like, my nigga, like, that's that old man shit. Like, you know, I'm not rocking with James Ingram like that. Like, if we just keep it in a buck, like, name me 2 James Ingram songs off the top of your head outside of JR. Most people can't.
Damn.
I can name 2.
Okay.
I can name 2.
All right, give me count.
100 ways and
Come on, somebody. Yeah.
Man, I just had it on the tip of my head. Always.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, Kel proved me wrong. But I just don't think the average nigga gonna be like, oh yeah, popping that J. Again, for me, I'm from that era when you get on somebody's car and you like, yo, play this.
Right.
I don't think anybody who was in school at any HBCU from 1990 to 1998 was like, yo, popping that People Bryson.
Hell no. He wasn't even playing.
Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it's the same way with
what you call it was needed. Like D'Angelo was needed. It made sense. We needed that. We was getting tired of Brian McKnight and all that. We wasn't relating to that. That wasn't
Right.
what we related to. We related to D'Angelo because he dressed like us, he looked like us. We could relate
Right.
to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like the whole
But I
Boys and Men
also
Jodeci
think-
did.
But I also think, and it's the bad part with 50, because you forget shit you was just about to say, and I just forgot it. But it'll come back to me eventually.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Eddie, did you have any letdowns? Because it always, right before we get to Eddie, me and JR get into a whole argument that I forget about Eddie. So, Eddie, what did you have as your letdown?
Yo, can I bust? I'm not going to belabor the point, but, you know, I've said it before on this podcast. He was highly anticipated. All them features, all them freestyles, like he would burn down these freestyles. And when I got the album, I was like, yo, what the hell? So yeah, that was that. Whoever said Cameron was definitely a letdown, because the two singles I heard before the album were 357 and then Pull It with DMX. 357 was on there, Pull It was not. And then some of them other joints on there, it just wasn't hitting for me. You know, it was hitting. It was hit or miss. Yeah, that was that. The Love Movement. So this, like, for y'all watching this, you got to be of a certain age to remember when you walk into one of them record stores or electronic stores that had the records where you could actually preview the album, like with the headphones. And I remember hearing "Find a Way" and loving that joint. Like, that joint was crazy. So I saw it. I liked the cover and all that. Put it on, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. Skip. Nah, this ain't it. Skip. And I was just skipping so much on that album. I'm like, damn, man, I can't spend my $15 on this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man, we not in the Spotify era, man. Like, you gotta spend your money. And I'm like, nah, that ain't it. So, which was crazy, man. We think about Tribe. And to answer Kill's question, you know, y'all already know, man. I feel like Beats, Rhymes, and Life for Mike album. You know what I'm saying? I rock with the album. Definitely not Midnight Marauders or Low End, but I definitely rock with the album. Solid 4 mics, but Beats, Rhymes, or not Beats, Rhymes. The Love Movement was not it. It was not it. And then to Cal 2000. I feel like the album grew on me over time, but the skits was too many. But I feel like the difference between this album and Capital Punishment is that at least Capital Punishment had the highest highs. You know what I'm saying? This didn't. It was kind of all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You had, like, you know, Perfect World, Rockabye with what's her name from TLC, Left Eye. That was kind of weird. Then you had the D'Angelo joint. You had the title track, which didn't sound like anything he ever put out before. Suspect Chin music was dope. Like, it was giving me joints that I really loved, and then it was giving me other stuff that I didn't care for. And then all them skits were kind of like, nah. So, yeah, that's it for me.
All right, MCs and Singers of the Year. Porsche, who is your MC of the Year, and who is your slept-on MC of the Year?
Ooh, MC of the Year. Can it be like a group? Because
you're the co-host. Do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Again, I'm gonna Thunderstorm, Firestorm, or whatever you called it. It's gonna be Gangstar and Pete Rock. Like, I just can't. Okay. I can't. I mean, Pete Rock had a joint.
But I mean, who's the MC for Pete Rock? So you're saying Guru?
Okay, fine. Okay, I got you. Okay, I'll go with Outkast. Both of them.
Yo, B, you can't do that. I did that, man.
Andre, I have to because that's my third favorite. Like, that would be my second after those two. That would be my second favorite album.
No, I'm just saying you can't do that because that's what I did. My MC of the Year was 3000. My slept on MC was Big Boy.
That's so interesting because we never agree on these things.
See, we never agree, but I will put it up onto the screen. It was 3,000 and Big Boy.
No, I'm actually going to say Andre 3000 and Big Boy as the MCs of the year, and I will say DMX as the slept on. And I'll say that because he put out two, and you know, as the years pass, I feel like Hip Hop Nation has gotten better at sort of recognizing the like work that went into what DMX did with putting out two albums and having the, you know, caliber of albums that he had back to back in the same year, which had never happened before. So I think like fans are getting better at acknowledging that. So I say slept on like with a little asterisk because I still think DMX needs to be mentioned a little bit more in these conversations. So I'll say DMX is my slept on for sure.
All right, my MC of the year, and I want to define how, because somebody's watching like, yo, how the fuck, you know, DMX ain't the MC of the year, whatever. For me, it's about the bar work. It's not about record sales. It's not about radio plays, none of that stuff. I'm just talking about MCs that I heard this year, and I was like, yo, that was 3,000. When I heard 3,000 on Return of the Gangster, I was like, yo. When I heard him on The Art of Story, when we say, I asked her what she wanted to be, she said Alive. Like, that's like skewing on the barbecue. Like, everything that he was spitting was just top tier MC to me. Like, up to that point, like, I always thought they were kind of balanced. You know what I mean? And I mean, of course, you know, the Elevators joint that 3,000 did was crazy. But even through that album, I felt like this is kind of like he started like moving ahead of Big Boy, for me at least. Other people may have felt like that already. But then I say Big Boy is my slept on MC because people be acting like Big wasn't right there with Andre. So even if he was moving ahead, like, you know, Big Boy was right behind him for me. And I mean, his verse on Spodioti, Quimini, Rosa Parks, you know, even his verse on Return to Gangster was crazy. So those are my MCs of the year and slept on. Kel, who was the dopest MC that year for you? Who was slept on?
To get on the porch the skin a little bit, I got Big Pun as my MC of the year.
It's not saying I get that, and I will give you that. That's okay. I deserve it. He's great.
Pun was just rhyme on a whole nother level of me that year. Everything was just a banger. My slept on MC of the year is Nature. So I think Banned from TV verse is just, you know.
Bro, I get pussy with my father's features may be one of the greatest hip hop lines ever.
Hold on, though. He started that song off crazy, though.
Oh yeah. The whole song started crazy. Like, he killed this verse.
Sleet or hell, I kick street tails, choke a nigga like a
free will.
Holding your fate in the palm of my hand. Yo, I was like, oh my gosh, this. Yeah.
And here's the thing, y'all. Nature will probably not go down in history as like, you know, this MC that people talk about, but I get pussy with my father's features is, as an MC, that's all you can hope for. All you can hope for is that you have a bar, a verse, a line. He has something that a lot of other MCs don't have.
Word.
You know what I mean? So people can front on H all they want, but I get pussy with my father's features is one of the most incredible. I could do a whole show interviewing just Nature off of that line. Like, just off of that verse, like Rel said, just off of that, Nature. Yeah, so I feel it.
And then that exclusive new shit that I talked about.
Oh, exclusive new shit, right, exactly, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some lines on that.
Nate, come on, Nate is nice, yeah.
Nature's a dope pull. Rel, who's your MC of the year and slept on?
Listen, man, MC of the year is 3,000 for me, man. And I'm going to say why. Like, I was going to say Pun, but like 3,000 had some like seminal moments on this Quimini album that was just like Return of the G, the art of storytelling, like his verse on Mamacita, which was a song like when I first heard it was kind of weird. But do you hear his verse? Like he went crazy on this album. Like, and I was one of them people. I always say like Big Boy be getting overlooked, like he whack or something. And I'm like, I don't know what y'all hearing, but I think this album right here is when it really started. Like, I think he was better than Big Boy on this album, but not like he was washing them. You know what I'm saying? Like he was making Big Boy is like, not even gonna say it because I don't want the drama, but you know what I'm saying. So
Right.
but he had some like crazy moments on this album. Like, so I gotta give him the MC of the year. And slept on. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna go with DMX. It took me a while to like get on the whole DMX thing, but it is very impressive to put those two albums out in the same year and both of them be really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was unheard of at the time. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. I know, like there was some people in Philly, like when Get At Me Dog came out, they was like all going crazy, and I just was like, it was all right. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while to like really appreciate DMX, but for that year, I just remember that year, like he was that bull. Like he was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? He wasn't like super lyrical, but he had bars. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was whacking that. You know what I mean? And then he put out two really good albums and within a 7-month span. So I gotta give him credit for that. So he was slept on for me.
All right. JR, who you got?
Favorite, Brandy gets it for me, the vocalist. And underrated, I'm gonna say Nicole Ray. Her album, her album, Make It Hot. I forgot to put that in my underrated, but we only had 3. So, but yeah, like she can blow.
Look at that. Somebody who actually follows the rules. He said I only had 3. It couldn't make the cut. Look at that. Look at Gold.
You coming at the cause.
Look at Gold. Look at Gold.
Yeah, so yeah, I would recommend people go listen to that Nicole Ray Make It Hot because that joint was dope. Like, oh my God. So yeah, so those two, I would say Brandy got it and then Nicole Ray.
All right, Natty, who you got?
I got Big Pun, man. Not only for Capital Punishment album, but he was all over that Fat Joe Don Cartagena album. To me, he was like some of the best parts of that album. And you know what I'm saying? Like that was peak Big Pun, like height of his powers, man. He was going crazy. Am I slept on MC? I gotta go with Guru, man. I know like everyone had that Moment of Truth album up there, but here's the thing: a lot of people don't. When people put Gangstar up there, a lot of people not putting it up there for Guru. A lot of people putting Gangstar up there for Premier and the production. So that's why I say Guru underrated, because his performance on that album, like I said earlier when I was talking about the album, like he just gave you everything. Like he was so versatile on that album with the different types of songs, like, you know, the story he told on JFK to LAX, you know what I'm saying? Even like joints like My Advice to You, and you know what I'm saying? Then he had joints like you know, just straight rapping like The Militia, Next Time, you know, Above the Clouds. It was dope. He was just so versatile on that, so I gotta give him the slept on.
All right, dope. Producer of the year for me, I'm giving it to Pete Rock with Soul Survivor. Just an incredible album. Slept on producer, I'm going with High Tech, because this Black Star joint was kind of like my introduction to him with redefinition, definition, respiration, and knowledge of self. Just all with bangers. And it was like, all right, boom, I got to pay attention to this boy High Tech. So that's what I got. Kel, who you got up?
I got Premier as my producer of the year. Moment of Truth. I think Devil's Pie is 1998 as well. So that's him. And I echo you on High Tech for underrated. I mean, I never heard of High Tech before that. Cincinnati, I'm like, right, you know, just new, and yeah, I just dope. The whole album blast was just dope.
Right. What about you, Ralph?
Pete Rock for producer of the year. Again, Soul Survivor was just crazy, and I'm gonna go High Tech as well, because I know I haven't really heard of him before then, and you know, he did his thing on that, and then you were looking forward to hearing, you know, High Tech after that. So that's mine.
JR, who you got?
I don't even have an underrated, to be honest. My producer would be Rodney. He changed it, so he changed the scope, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So before then, Tim had it. You know what I mean? Timbaland had it. Like you know what I mean? He was the guy, and that was it. Rodney came in and was like, "Boop, let's switch," and he started producing everybody else. So
now I remember what I was gonna say, JR, from 20 minutes ago. This is what happens when you get old. You gotta come back 20 minutes later and talk about it. I felt Brandy tried to come over to our side with that Timbaland album.
Okay, Aphrodisiac, you feel that way.
Right. I felt like it was like, oh, she's getting with Timbo because Timbo is what brought Aaliyah over. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, okay, she's now trying to come over, but it felt forced. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was really the album. Again, it was almost like, let me try to use McDonald's. It's like McDowell's. Like, Timbaland was Aaliyah's. You know what I mean? And it was like, let me try to get the Big Mick to the Big Mac. And it was like, to me, it just didn't connect like that. Even though I like a lot of the songs. I mean, you know, Who Is She to You? Like, there's a lot of great songs on that album. But I do know that's not, most Brandy fans don't love that album like that. So, you know, that's it. Eddie, who you got for your producer of the year and slept on?
My producer year, I gotta go with Pete Rock because what he did with that Soul Survivor, like with so many different artists, like to be able to cater to so many different styles and stuff was incredible. You know what I'm saying? So great body of work. I feel like, you know, aside from Pete Rock and CL Smooth, that's definitely his legacy. You know what I'm saying? So that for my slept on producer, I'm going with Dame Grease. Dame Grease for what he did on them DMX albums, man, like crazy. Like, because I wasn't really feeling Swizz like that, but the Dame Grease shit was crazy.
Yeah. P, who you got for your producer of the year?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Producer of the year, and I'm not separating them. Pete Rock and DJ Premier. Yeah, for sure. And I don't need to go on about details and reasons, but Pete Rock and DJ Premier. And my slept on producers, Organized Noise. I think just in general, Organized Noise is slept on, like, and has been forever and will be forever. And I'm not really sure why, especially coming off of ATLians. Like, we've got now 2 albums by 98 from Organized, and they're stellar albums. Like, I'm talking like 5 mic albums. So, you know, I don't know why they don't get the recognition. They resurrected En Vogue's career. Like, I don't know. I just have this gripe with Hip Hop Nation that we don't give Organized Noise as much credit as we should. And I know some of us do, but I don't think the majority of us do. Anyways, Organized Noise, slept on.
I think one of the reasons is they didn't rock with a lot of people outside of their crew.
Right.
So I think similar like DJ Quick, how we talked about on that show, like, let me see your resume. Like, Quick deciding just to do Quick stuff wasn't enough to get him like that. So if Organized Noise would have been producing, and they only did 1 song for En Vogue, you know, they did 1 song for TLC. So there were a lot of one-offs. And I mean, yeah, the songs are crazy. The songs are crazy. But those one-offs didn't really resonate with hip-hop. So again, they gave En Vogue, who have nothing to do with hip-hop, you know, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, JR. Don't look at me in that tone. But
no. I'm just listening. No.
Right. And, you know, TLC, you know, they're kind of hip hop, but, you know, Waterfalls was not Creep. Like, Creep was hip hop. You know, you got Slick Rick, you got the drums. Yeah. Waterfalls was the total opposite. That was MTV, please play us all day. And they did. So I think that's the thing. Like, Organized hasn't worked with enough hip hop artists, I think, for hip hop heads, at least East Coast heads. That's all I can speak for, to kind of put them up there with the, you know, Large Professors and the Q-Tips and the Premiers and the Pete Rock. So I think that's what it is. Quick question. So one thing about 98 that I'll never forget, September 29th, it was the day that Jay-Z, Black Star, Brand Nubians, Outkast, and Tribe all dropped on the same day. We never had anything like that before. Right. I know people watching in 2024, that sounds like shit because y'all fuck around had 40 people drop on the same day. But in 98, this was like amazing. This was like, oh shit, what are you buying? Who you got? If you only got enough money for one, who are you buying? So
Yep.
If you only had enough money at the time, if you could take yourself back to 1998, what album, if you only had money for one album, what album were you buying from Jay-Z, Black Star, Brand Nubian, Outkast, and Tribe? I know for me, going back in time, Jay's album would have been the first album because of Hard Knock Life. I love that song. My man Shotty Lukman played it for me. We were on that shit before everybody else was on that shit. So at that time, I would have brought Jay's album in hopes of getting Reasonable Doubt Jay. Because remember, the second album was like a half and half album. So the same way Porsche was like, hey, I'm hoping Tribe is going to bounce back. I would have been hoping Jay was going to bounce back. And I actually hate this Jay-Z. I don't want to say hate. I don't like this Jay-Z album. I wasn't with the Swiss beat sound at the time. So, and to me, that album is really, I call it a split in hip hop. Because prior to that album, we'd be on the bridge, Kelv, and everybody, oh yeah, we love that. That was the first album that I saw people like, I love it, and other people was like, I hate it. You know what I mean? So that album to me was like a split in hip hop, but not knowing what I know now, I would have went back, I would have brought that. But knowing what I know now, of course, it would have been Aquemini. Porsche, what about you? If you went back in time, you don't know anything about these albums, you don't know what they're going to sound like. What is the album that you're buying first?
It would have been Aquemini. It would have been Outkast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bet. Kel, what about you?
I mean, you know what I was going to buy. It's Tribe.
Tribe.
It's it's Tribe.
All right. Ro, what about you?
Back then, I'd have
Not
bought,
knowing what you know now, but just
I'd have bought the Jay-Z joint. I'd have bought Hove. And that album is like mediocre to me, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, like I know I was kind of anticipating that album. It would have been between that and Tribe, but I think I probably would have bought Jay-Z first. Even though I was diehard Tribe, but I was, you know, I was anticipating Tribe, but after the previous album, I was kind of like, well, we'll see. And I know what I was expecting from Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? And I know some people like that really love, like when I was in school, like really love that album. And yeah. And it was,
I know people who say it's a 5 mic album. And it's like Jay-Z.
It's 5 mics,
I don't think it aged well. It didn't age like some of his other albums aged better than Volume 2. And if you're not into the whole Swiss thing, you really ain't gonna like it, you know what I'm saying? So it was up and down for me, but not knowing anything, I would have bought the Jay-Z album first.
All right, no doubt. JR, what about you?
The J. I would have brought the J first out of any of that, because the same thing with Rel, the whole thing about Tribe. The last album, it was like, okay, you know what I mean? It was like once the Love Movement was coming out, it was like, are we gonna get something like that? Is Consequence gonna be all on this? You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
right.
I was like, I'm gonna go with the Hove. I'm gonna go with the J.
All right. Hey, what about you? Which one you copping?
Definitely Aquemini, and I already explained kind of where I was at, you know, joining the military and having all these different influences and stuff, and so I was definitely hyped for that album.
All right, no doubt. Dope roundup for 98. Great discussions with me and JR against niggas and black people with music. You know, I'm gonna find a better way to say it next time, but I don't do politically correct. I'm about to be 50, y'all. We tired. It's Cal. I don't know what it is about turning 50, man. You just stop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your level just. I get it now. JR, where can they get at you, bro? What you got cooking up?
All right, me and Elise got the R&B Reps. Check us out, R&B Reps, on Instagram and Twitter. When this comes out, the video that we did with Keith Burrows. He came back and we did Luther's Forever. Forever for Always for Love. We did that album, which is so dope. Funny episode because Keith is funny as hell. So that's a funny episode. Our Janet video, the Demeter Joe joint, did numbers. We did like 402 days. So that was dope. We got like over 43 subscribers, so we almost at 1,000. So that's a good thing. So we still pushing. Elise is about to, after she done got back from her vacay and all that, so she's back into the the 60 seconds of vinyl. She about to get back on that. I'm about to get back on the Motown's JR's Motown Life. I'm also doing, people think it's just 60s. I'm doing all the way to 2000. So I'm doing that too. So we just doing it, man. It's great to keep doing this thing here. So just follow us on R&B Reps on Instagram and Twitter. JR's World of Soul on Instagram and JR R&B Rep on Twitter.
All right, bro, what's cooking up, bro?
Yes,
fire. That's what's cooking.
Yeah. Uptown Rail 215 on the gram, JBen 215 on Twitter. Yo, we're working on my new album. It's called "It's Not You, It's Me." It's soulful. It's executive produced by Kill and my man JR. So I sent them 2 tracks, and when I tell you, the shit about to be crazy. Like I ain't even jazzing. Like it's about to be crazy. And I got 3 more I'm gonna send y'all tonight that I just worked on. But and when everything's done, we're gonna pull up at the Kill House again, and we're gonna organize and sequence it, put it in a we're gonna collaborate on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's coming along very well, very well.
So Rel sent me some joints over, and I text Porsche, you want to hear some love songs? She said, yes. She said, Kill, Rel is amazing. The song is so heart melty. I love it. And I'm like, heart melty. I mean, literally, like, if people can see this, it's like
heart melty.
Wow.
So, Porsche is if you know anything about my sister, she loves love. So
listen, this is different. This is different from anything I ever did. It's a real soulful album, but it's about a lot of stuff about relationships, love, but it's still hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's about relationships, and when you hear some of the songs I'm gonna sing y'all today, it's more than just your relationship with a female. It's about friendship, family, all that. So it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. Trust me.
All right. Eddie, what you got going on? Where can they get at you, bro?
You get at me on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, chopping it up, at Eddie the 80, and also on Instagram at Freestyles. Yo, man, I've just been chilling, man, chopping it up, you know what I'm saying?
All right, and Kel, where can I get at you, good brother?
And on Twitter at Kelvin Davis Sr. and on IG at Big Kelv. So I'll chop it together. I gotta get back. Let's go, Knicks. Let's go. 40-point beat down yesterday. Let's go. Let's go.
Number 3 seed, man.
Come on, somebody.
And I think we can get the 2. I think we can get the 2. I think we can catch Milwaukee. So
I think so.
Yeah, we coming.
I will be in MSG next Thursday for the Kings game. Yeah, I'll be up in New York for my birthday. So yeah, we're going to the next game.
Okay.
Yeah. You already know this is me, Kill 889, IG, Twitter. Y'all know me. I love all my little stuff I gotta get. I gotta shout out my man Scarto. This is the Rakim joint, Scartoccio. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But I mean, just the box is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that's just the box. It comes
and
with the
that on IG too?
Yeah, he's on IG. So just Scartoccio on IG. You get the poster, and then the whole joint is crazy. You got Rakim.
Wow.
Like that. The guy.
So hard. Wow.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
You got all the different songs. You turn around to the back. You got the 2 turntables. You got the SP1200 right there. You got the Follow the Leader joint.
Yeah.
Follow the Leader. You got the 3 rope chains on them.
5%. Yep.
You got the different heads and all that. I saw your
got the different heads on it. So definitely, again, you got to follow my man, because when these joints stop selling, like, these joints will go for triple. Literally, I've seen people selling the Nas joint for like $4,000 on eBay. You know what I mean? So we got and His last joint was the Outcast. So you order them, they take a minute. Like this joint took a year. I ordered this for my birthday last year, and I just got it. So it takes a minute, but once you get them, they definitely make the studio look even doper. So definitely. And I don't even know if I show boys this one. This is a dude from his name is B-Boys, who does that with the Big L joint. You know what I'm saying? So
dope, man.
That's fire, yo.
That's fire, yeah, for real.
yeah, so y'all know me, I always got some hip hop memorabilia over here. All right, y'all, we'll check y'all next week, good peoples.